With a belly full of tacos, it's time for the Dirt Life Show.
Yes, we do have a belly full of tacos. It is awesome to see you guys tonight. We have episode number 18. 18 is a significant number for us because we didn't think we were going to make it past, 3. So we are stoked, so stoked to have our buddy Robert Blanton in the studio. What's up, Robert?
What's going on?
Tacos.
Hold on a minute. I got to update my status here. This is a pretty big deal. I'm on the Dirt Life Show.
Oh, sweet, dude. Yeah, share it with your buddies. In fact, actually, since we're talking about it, let's thank everybody for being on social media and sharing it with our audience, their audience, everybody. I appreciate everybody watching so much. It means the world to me because you guys are what keeps us going. You guys are what keeps us alive. Each show that we have has been getting bigger and bigger. I think we're doing some pretty cool stuff. I think that some of the content will be better in the future as well. We have been talking to people like yourself, Justin Smith, and everybody's been giving me some pretty good advice on the show, dude. So I am super stoked. Let's get our sponsors out of the way real quick. We want to thank the guys over at Shock Therapy. We know they actually help you guys with some stuff too,
Absolutely.
right?
Our SEMA razor.
Yeah, so the guys at Shock Therapy are awesome. They obviously provide awesome shocks and components for all the UTVs out there. We want to thank the guys at Fuel Wheels. They make some awesome products. We want to thank the guys at Rigid Industries. We want to thank the guys at Solder Weld. You can
also a supporter of Warfighter Made.
Yep, those guys are really awesome. And we want to finally thank Zollinger Racing Products. They make some awesome snowmobile products, and they make I still can't get over how they make these billet aluminum knuckles for razors and Can-Ams, man. It's just like candy for our eyes.
Calm down, dude. Calm down.
I know.
Calm down.
I know. But yeah, and thank you very much for coming all the way to Arizona, dude. I really appreciate it. It's it's not that long of a flight, but it still means a lot to me that you're here.
Well, it's important that when I saw you having this show and what you were doing, and when you offered it up, I was like, yeah, absolutely, on one condition, that I actually get to come down and sit in this studio, which is amazing, and
Thank you.
Be here with you.
I appreciate that, man. It's actually really cool. I like having the face-to-face interaction, obviously. We haven't seen each other as much as I'd like to in the last year or so either, because we haven't been doing the same types of stuff. But
well, you've been pretty busy too.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well.
But that doesn't discount how busy you've been either. You've been doing a lot of cool stuff too. We're going to get into your story a little bit more, but for people that don't know who you are, this is obviously Robert Blanton. He introduced himself earlier, but he's one of the baddest dudes on the planet, man. His biography tells so much about his life in the military. And when I read that biography, first of all, I already knew you as a person. I knew you as the guy that helps all the warfighters, the veterans. And when I read that biography, it was just like, it was like watching a movie about somebody that was just helping everybody, making sure that we're all safe, obviously, in the country that we love. You've achieved some pretty serious stuff in your life, man. Some serious stuff. And you've also faced a lot of adversity. But you've overcome it, and now you have an organization called Warfighter Made that gives back, and that giving back stuff is so important these days, and it shows a lot about your character. It really does.
It's important for me. Always been a helper, always been a giver, and after 21 years in the Marine Corps, when I retired from the Marines, I didn't want that service to stop.
Yeah.
So I had started an organization called Warfighter Made a couple years prior to my retirement, and it was all about giving back, showing all vets from all branches and all eras that we love you guys, and we want to continue the support.
And we'll definitely get into a little bit more about that. And the support mechanism that you provide really does have an effect on them and what they see. You talked to me about like PTSD and all these different things that happen and when people come back and if they're missing limbs and stuff. But let's get into your story a little bit, man. So you grew up in Santa Rosa, California?
I grew up in Santa Rosa, California.
What made you well, Santa Rosa is not like the mecca of dirt bikes like where you live now in Temecula. Like, what made you get into the dirt?
It was my father was a mechanic, and he was always horse trading stuff. I'll do a tune up on your car if you give me this bike that you're not using anymore. And it started with a little Honda 70 dirt bike that I learned how to ride on and just out on the trails and in parking lots and stuff like that. And then he ended up getting a Suzuki RM80 for me, and it was called the Leg Breaker because a guy wanted to get rid of it because two of his buddies had broken their legs on it.
Oh, really?
So my dad thought it'd be a great idea to put his
Put you on it?
10-year-old son on it. And sure enough, I ended up breaking my leg on it. And but anything dirt has
sounds like
always
that poor dirt bike got a curse.
It did, right? It's just always been important to me, but joining the military, I kind of got away from that a little bit. I mean, you're always doing stuff in the dirt,
Yeah, absolutely.
including eating it. If anybody saw my intro to this, but
Yep.
and it was something that when we got into Warfighter Made, that when it was reintroduced back to us, it was just a natural fit. And of course, the off-road community just 100% embraced us, so it was awesome.
That's one thing. That's one of the reasons that we started the show is because, well, first of all, I like dirt, but I try not to eat it as much as what you guys do. But the camaraderie and stuff is what really interests me. And since we talked about this a little bit today, actually, when you have that camaraderie and that interaction with people in general and people that are caring, it really changes the way that you think about your perception about society. And when I was growing up, all I wanted to do was be a professional dirt bike racer. Probably, like similar to what you did. I don't know if after breaking your leg on the leg breaker, it changed your mind, but all of the tools that you learn and the things that you learn during those processes of just growing up around dirt bikes, growing up in the dirt, maybe not having as much or not playing video games, whatever it is, really have a big influence on the rest of your life. And that's what I wanted the show to be about that and how people like having fun in the dirt. And you're a prime example of that because you've taken all of the stuff that you've been through in your life, riding a dirt bike and breaking your leg, joining the military, being in the dirt, and you've turned it into something good, helping people. So I really commend you for that, man. That's awesome. What did you do after you got the dirt bike? Because there's a big gap until you joined the military. So what was and to give you a double question, what was the catalyst to go into the military?
So basically that big gap was me and my friends. I grew up right next to the Sonoma County Fairgrounds, and my friends and I used to go over there, and heaven forbid if there was a wayward golf cart that still had the key in it or something like that. One of the work trucks, we'd go out there and just spin donuts in the parking lots or
That's
whatever
awesome.
the case may be. In the inside of the horse track they had over there. I'm totally going to go to jail the statute of limitations is up. We used to go out there, and there was one specific golf cart that we all tried to find.
What was the fastest one?
It was gas powered.
Oh, sweet.
And that thing would but we'd go out, I'm like 14 or 15. I don't really know anything.
Yep.
I'm out there tearing up these people's greens, not really realizing that I'm a jerk, and I'm just having fun. And then me and my homie Keith, we were driving it one night. It's like 2:00 in the morning or something, and we're jumping it. And Keith's like, "Hey, can I have a turn?" And I was like, "Bro, I don't know, man. This thing's like really high center, or it's really top heavy, and I just think that if you get behind it, you're going to end up rolling it or something like that." And as soon as I said that, I cut the wheel, man, and we went over, and he came crashing down on me. And it was one of those caged ones where, you can cruise around in
Oh, man.
with the golf balls flying at you. Yeah, so we all bounced off the cages and everything. Then he actually had to lift it up off of us. And and then we ended up joining the Marine Corps.
That's crazy. And you went with him then?
So there was actually 5 of us, and basically what happened was I think it was my junior year, and I'm sitting in a math class, and my one of my best friends is not there, and that's not like him. It's one of those situations where it's like, if you're cutting class, I'm cutting class. You got to let a brother know, you know. And him not being there was just weird. It was just like, where's my boy at? And all of a sudden he comes strutting into the class. It's almost getting ready to end, and he's just like, hey, man, I just joined the Marine Corps.
Wow.
And at that point in my life, I had no idea what the Marine Corps was.
And he didn't tell any of you guys or anything?
No,
He just
I
did
had
it?
no clue.
Wow.
None. And of course, like a true brother, he gives the recruiter all of our names. So now the recruiter's just like calling us and calling us and calling us. And 2 more of our friends ended up joining. And then me and Keith were kind of like the holdouts. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I wasn't 100% sure I was going to join the military.
Did you have any other ambitions other than that?
Well, what I knew I didn't want to do is I knew I wasn't going to continue my education because I barely graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I didn't want to go work for my grandfather because I think that's kind of what everybody expected me to do. And so it just kind of fell in my lap, and I was just like, well, all right. So I'm the proverbial, if your friend jumps off a bridge, will you? Yes. I joined the Marine Corps because all my friends joined the Marine Corps.
Well, yeah, but it does show a lot about you and your team aspect of your your mental well-being, because being in the Marines, that's you're a team, and you got to look out for your buddies and stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a half-sister who lives in Florida. Her husband's a Marine. He actually joined the Marine Corps because of my wife, Lima, and I.
Cool.
And she's a registered nurse. She's doing awesome. I got a niece and nephew through her. And then I had a half-brother who passed away in a car accident a few years ago.
Yeah, and I met your wife today. Well, I've met her before, but got to speak with her a good amount today. And that was pretty cool, man. She's definitely got she's a firecracker. She's always laughing, having fun. I want to hang out with her more than you, mostly.
That's story of my life. Everywhere I go. Like, hey, Rob, we're having this party.
Is Lima coming?
Tell your wife. And if you got something to do, then don't come. It's cool. But just make sure you tell your wife.
So, yeah, we had a good time today, though. It was kind of cool to show you a couple things in Arizona. We didn't get to go to the cave that's out here, but we got to go pet some goats.
And their danglies.
Yeah, and their danglies. And that was actually my first time knowing that goats have danglies right here. So that was pretty fun. Well, so did you do any of the dirt activities with your siblings then, growing up?
No. My little sister was born when I was like 16 or 17.
Oh, okay.
And I was way
already past
too
that.
into my doing what I wanted to do, and then my little brother was born when I was 18. So.
Right on. So enlisting in the military was, I don't know, I guess just a chance kind of thing with all your buddies and stuff. It's pretty crazy, but that I hear a lot of those stories actually. Maybe people, you want to do it because your friends were going, but maybe people don't have a set path that they want to go down, and they do enlist in that. I've always wondered those things because I'm quite the opposite, actually. I know what I want before I even go after it, and I really am guided and structured and stuff like that in my life. We were actually having a conversation in a previous show about this, and people tell me all the time, dude, ease up, you gotta let it go a little bit, let life take you where it needs to go. And I'm learning that now, but you learned it at a young age, it seems like.
Well, I'm always kind of like, I'm the type of guy that just jump in feet first, and I'll make the best of any situation that I find myself in.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate planning unless I'm driving someplace. Then I have to know exactly where we're going and how we're getting there, because as soon as we get lost, my wife is having fun. She's on an adventure, and I'm losing my mind because I'm going to end up, having an issue. So,
do you think that personality trait was good when you went into the military because you were kind of a little naive, so to speak?
Yeah, maybe. It was just, the great thing about the military is that it is comprised of everyone, and I always say it's comprised of the best men and women that America has to offer. Because, you get in there and every walk of life is in there. You got the people that join the military to escape their situation, like my wife. You have people that are, that are going to receive a massive trust fund, but they have to do something with their life before they can get it. So they're like, well, I'm going to join the Marine Corps and prove to everybody that I can handle this.
Yeah.
And then you have everybody in between. You have, every race, every religion, and the whole focus is everybody has to come together, work together, and get along.
Yeah.
And, my grandfather, who was in the Army, always told me, he's just like, when you join the military, you're not going to have a lot of friends, but the friends you have are going to be the best friends that you'll ever have.
Yeah.
And it's 100% true that, that those friends are ride or die type friends.
Halima was telling me earlier today too that you guys called some of your friends that you guys were in the military with 20 years later, and it was like you hadn't missed a beat when they came out to California to see you guys. That's just amazing, man. And I feel like it may not be quite the same, but I feel like the off-road community has a lot of that same camaraderie and things like that. So that's one of the things that I like most about it, because even going to the races with my crew chief Brian, my dad, and everybody, we don't see people for, let's just say, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is at a time, and the next time we see them, it's like we didn't miss a beat, like we saw him yesterday.
You pick up where you left off, or all you got to do is bring up that one race or that one session or whatever the case may be that was a great time for everybody.
Yep.
And you just start talking about that, and that just segues into everything else. And
exactly,
it's awesome, which is why we love being a part of the off-road community.
They mention it, like we're going to talk about how you got into the Warfighter Made and how it grew and stuff, but one of the people that we both know together is Jason and Jeremy Merrill, and I always talk about this story with Jason. Is we went to Wheatland, Missouri, and I still to this day, I don't know what happened. We were going down a straightaway, and my car was a little faster. I caught up to him, and I was letting off, kind of hit the brakes to go into a corner, and he never let off. He pinned it, and he was sideways going in the corner, going backwards. And my eyes lit up so huge when he did it. I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy is insane. And I came back to the truck, and he goes, I didn't even mean to do that. I was just wide open, and I messed it. Holy shit, it was crazy. But I held on to it. I was like, dude, it looks so awesome from my point of view, man. So it's right. Those stories mean a lot because you remember them forever.
It's like Stacy Godfrey of Tanner and Gavin and Preston and Kelsey Godfrey's mom, who's the raddest woman out there. Warfighter Made did a therapy trip to their house. They hosted us, and it was a trip from hell for us. I smoked the clutch in my truck. I was pulling a trailer that had 5 razors on it, and
everything that could go wrong.
The trailer wasn't registered properly. I had taken a plate off of another trailer and slapped it on there just to make do.
Yeah.
And I had some nefarious stuff in the truck in firearms ways that never would have passed in California, because we were going to go out there and do some shooting also.
Oh, cool.
And I ended up getting pulled over, and I was like, man, we're going to jail. It's just and the trooper basically cut me some slack. He was just
dang, really?
Listen, man, you are screwed up 2 ways from Sunday right now, but I'm going to let you go because I believe in what you're doing, and I think more people need to be like you.
Wow.
And so he gave me a couple tasks that I needed to complete,
right,
which I couldn't do. So I called up a buddy of mine at Metro SWAT, and I was just like, hey, man, I just need guaranteed passage through Nevada right now. And so he calls me back, and he's like, all right, dude, you got your passage, but understand that
so he was able to get it for you?
Yeah, he's just like, but understand that I had to tell everybody that, hey, this red truck with this trailer with these Warfighter logoed razors on the back, leave them alone.
Wow.
And
that's a pretty big favor.
And it was one of those things where as I'm driving along, and every trooper that I saw, the way they would just look at us driving by, oh, That's the call that came over the radio. That's that truck.
Wow.
And he was just like, dude, don't come to a complete stop. Don't speed. Don't do whatever. And I was just like, you got it, man. Whatever it takes. Well, finally my truck quit like 10 miles from the destination, and we had to get it towed and everything. And the next morning, after we've linked up with the Godfreys and we're driving to go do a shooting thing, I'm telling the story, and it's like my world is ending, right? Like, worst thing that's ever happened to me. And all of a sudden, Stacy Godfrey turns around in the truck and just looks at me, and she's like, but wasn't that fun? And I'm like, no, Stacy, that wasn't fun. That was like the opposite of fun. And she's just like, no. Think about this.
That's fun.
If you had just drove from point A to point B with no issues, you never would have remembered that situation.
Or had that story, yeah.
But because now you have this story, and isn't that fun? And I sat back in that truck, and it just like, I was like, oh my God, my whole world just opened up. My perception has been changed because, you know, in the military, you thrive off of telling the worst, suckiest stories that have happened to you.
Yeah.
You don't tell anybody about the time that you jumped out of an airplane and had the most fantastic, flat, dumb, and happy exit and fall and the perfect parachute opening and the perfect landing. Those are lame stories.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you always tell people the stories where you almost died, right?
Yep.
So that's
but you saved it.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh God, that's a great perspective.
Well, talking about perspective, then, like, so when you, and I don't mean to change subjects, but when you went into the military, did you understand how much different it was going to be than civilian life?
Zero. No idea whatsoever. It was just one of those things where, again, what ended up happening was my grandfather, who was in the Army Air Corps, who joined the Army because World War II had kicked off. He was in the Civilian Conservation Corps prior to that because of the Great Depression. And he became a pilot and everything, but something happened, and he quit his flight crew. And he basically quit. And I think that has bothered him his entire life.
Wow.
And so right before I left for boot camp, I was still in Santa Rosa, and we were getting ready to go to Oakland to do your final physical and then head to MCRD San Diego. And he just looked at me, and he looked at me in a way that he'd never really looked at me before. And he was just like, hey, don't ever give up.
Wow, that's
And that was kind of like the last thing he ever said to me. And it really stuck with me, and it became kind of like a catalyst for me to continue to push, continue to strive, continue to not just be happy with the status quo. And
was that because you could see or you could understand what he was saying? Because never give up is a popular term.
Right.
But when somebody says that with significance and their story.
Yeah, he said it to me with a look on his face that I'd never seen before.
So
Yeah, and this was a guy that you know, my mom and dad separated when I was pretty young, and so my mom was a mess, and so I tried to spend as much time with my grandparents as I could. And so this was the type of guy that I spent a lot of time with. I knew him, you know, and the way he looked at me was impactful.
Yeah.
You know.
So it was significant enough to change your outlook. That's kind of cool, though. You got to remember those things in life, and that's one of the next questions that I want to ask you is, like, was there a significant emotional event or anything that was, like, leading up to that was, like, life-changing for you? Because I know some of the stuff that you saw in the military was, but before that?
I mean, life-changing, you know, my mom, like I said, she was a mess. She was a drug addict, severe depression, just, you know, a lot of the things that I learned in my life, and I always kind of feel like the reason why I'm so down to help people is because I couldn't help my mom. And, you know, she ended up having an addiction that killed her, and she died of a drug overdose. And, you know, while I'm very, you know, real about it, it was a decision that she made. It cost her life. You know, it doesn't bother me from that standpoint.
There's a lot of significance behind those things, and this is one of the things that I like to. In fact, we're going to start a new segment on the show. It's going to be called 19 Lives, and the reason that we're going to call it 19 Lives is because 19 has been my racing number throughout my career, and unfortunately, I've had to use up more than my fair share of 9 lives like a cat. So it's a play on words, and we're going to start a segment, and the segment is going to be very similar to the thing that you described with emotions. Injuries, any type of significant events that happen in a person's life, and whether you realize it or not, and I know you do, or other people realize it or not, those things set up your life for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And now, like you said, understanding how you're going to help people and how you're doing it now could have been very well described or come from that. So it's cool to see that, and I wish more people would understand those types of things, because a lot of people, and we can talk about this with PTSD and things like that with different Marines, but a lot of people come back and they push it away instead of understanding it. And I think it's good that when people do understand it, like yourself, because we'll talk about this too, is, you were unfortunately have PTSD and very close to calling it quits too, and those types of things are influenced or not done because of what you've seen in your past. So it makes a big difference, and I wish people would just understand and truly absorb those types of things,
right,
and feel that and understand it instead of push it away. I've had a lot of realization in the past 8 months of my life to be able to understand that too.
But this show is getting really heavy right now.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at something on the screen, and it's driving me crazy. I got to do something real fast.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it. So we got. Oh, you got a marker? Oh, great. You got to do my surgery. So the people that are listening to it on audio, Robert's drawing on my knee because I got this knee surgery this week. He put a smiley face on my knee. That looks pretty cool, man. And now I'm going to have it for the rest of the show and obviously this week too. Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. Yeah, and thanks for getting me out of my little phase there. But so you've obviously been through some significant things. When you were in the military, you achieved some pretty amazing valors and all different types of things. You've been through, 3 tours now? 4 tours?
I did 3 tours in Iraq and 1 in Somalia.
Yeah. So what was the heaviest one out of all those? The last one in Iraq?
The last one in Iraq was pretty
it was
tough.
It was pretty gnarly. You want to go into any of those and tell a little bit about those stories? You told me a couple things today, and I was like, holy shit, man, those are some serious situations that you were put in. But I think the best thing that came out of it in my mind was the camaraderie that you guys had. Well, your different platoons and stuff were pretty legit, man.
Yeah, it was, it's, oh, man, training together the way that we trained together at 1st Force Reconnaissance Company as Force Recon Marines, it's significant.
Yeah.
And it's not a 9 to 5. It's it's until it's done, and you go out with guys and you suffer, and it brings everybody together. The more it sucks, the tighter you guys are going to be.
Yeah.
And
pushing each other.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if you've gone through it, I'm going through it. We're now family based off of that. And there's some platoons we were untouchable. Other platoons we couldn't get along to save our lives. But there was never a time in those platoons where we didn't get along that I ever for 1 second questioned whether anybody in that platoon would have my back. And that's really significant. And that's really what makes being in the military awesome, is that camaraderie, that family, that brotherhood of having those people stand shoulder to shoulder with you in some of the most crazy instances and
I
just,
can only imagine.
push through it with you.
And you must have really understood that and liked it because, 21 years in the Marines, and you've achieved some serious stuff. You got a Silver Star, you're Master Sergeant. You've got some pretty high credentials, and that doesn't just come from wanting to be around or be in the Marines for a paycheck. It comes from really wanting to strive and move forward. You told me a couple things about your career in the Marines that you pushed yourself harder than some of the guys. You wanted to be a better Marine than everybody else and things like that. And I asked that question why you did those things because it really shows how much you care about the other people.
I don't think I ever wanted to be a better Marine than everybody else. What I wanted to make sure was anyone who that I was with, whether it was a team or a platoon or a section or whatever the case may be, I never wanted them to have a doubt that I would not be there for them.
There you go.
So that pushed me to physically be fit, and it also pushed me specifically to be mentally fit, to be able to make snap decisions in some of the most messed up scenarios, and in the end come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did that. You achieved a lot, like I said, the Silver Star and different valor. So that was pretty cool. I commend you for it, man, because thinking about those situations that you were put in, I don't know if I could have handled a lot of those situations. So it's cool to see that. And then all the guys that you're helping now with Warfighter Made are very much the same mental capacity as you. They want to, do good. They want to help everybody, and they want to protect their brothers. So it's cool. What was the first, let's talk about your retirement from the Marines. What was the reason that you decided to retire?
There was a number of reasons. First, it was they wanted me to move, and it was either go to DC or go back to Okinawa, Japan, and which either one of those I would have done. But the issue was that they wanted me to do it unaccompanied, basically without my family. And
and at this time you had a wife and kids.
Oh yeah, and I think our daughter at this time was 18 or something like that.
Right.
That was our youngest, right? And our son had already joined the Navy, and he was already in the Navy at this point. And I was still kind of having some issues with post-traumatic stress, and it was wearing on me. And I didn't feel like I was the best me anymore. And I didn't want to just occupy a position. I wanted to be out there giving it 100%. And
was it easy to understand those things about yourself?
Yeah, because I'm very self-aware.
Yeah.
And it's like when I was having like massive issues with post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury, it was actually some of my peers that came up to me and they were like, "Hey, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you need to fix yourself." And in my mind, I was like, "Well, I know exactly what's wrong with me. I just don't know how to fix it."
Oh, gotcha.
And so I started to seek help through the military channels. And unfortunately, the one thing that everybody wants to do is the first time you mention that you're having mental issues is, "Oh, here, take these pills, take this, take that," and that's not who I am. I'm a tell me what's wrong with me so I can make it click within my brain and help myself.
Dude, I'm right there with you.
So
I love that.
And that started the catalyst for Warfighter Made, in the fact that 2011 was a really bad time. I was still active duty, and I was sleeping about 4 hours a night, but it was totally fragmented.
Yeah.
So, and I was doing this for months and months and months and months, and I was just exhausted.
That's not good for your body.
No, dude, horrible. And I'm still at work. I'm still maintaining a standard. I'm still, doing all this stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. And, one night I just woke up and And I truly felt that everybody around me would be better off without me. That I was such a burden on everybody. I was destroying the relationship with my son. I was driving my daughter crazy because my daughter's a fixer and she wants to fix, but she doesn't know how. At the time she's like, 14 and she wants to fix her dad, but she doesn't know how. And, my son who's like 16 or 17 is just like, he needs a father figure, but his father figure is just an asshole because that's all. I'd come home from work, I'd be stressed out. I'd pour myself a drink and then I'd start laying into him because he didn't do this or he did that, but it should have been more like this and whatever. And it was just, so like I said, I woke up and I was just staring in the darkness and I was just like, nah, everybody would be so much better off without me. And that was kind of the turning point in my life because Halima stopped me and, really broke it down on those thoughts are just in my head.
Right.
That's not how everybody.
It's not reality.
It's not. It's not reality at all. I mean, can I do things better? Yeah, 100%.
Everybody can, yeah.
But it's not the what I have dreamt up in my head is not the reality that everyone else is thinking.
Yep.
So let's really look at doing, other forms of therapy. So I was given the ability to basically kick the therapist who so, pushed meds on me. I was able to kick her to the curb, get a different therapist who really understood who I was and what I was trying to do.
And the approach that you wanted to take, yeah.
And the other lady was like that also, but she really, at one point during my therapy session, she used my kids against me.
Oh, that's terrible.
So it was just like, hey, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for your kids. And so I did, and it just wasn't a good situation. So I know meds work for a lot of people.
Some people need them,
I'm not anti-medication, but...
You bring up a good point, though. People need to understand what they need for themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
there are a bunch of people right now that are like probably thinking to themselves, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for meds.
Yeah.
And which is cool, but there's a lot of people that aren't here because of meds.
Yep.
So, I think it's people definitely need to, if you're not feeling right, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Right.
But ask for help in the capacity that it works for you.
And that's why I was saying earlier in the show that we were going to talk about this. It's you need to understand what you need, and you need to understand and that self-diagnose, so to speak, to be able to get what you need to repair it. You don't go into fixing an automobile without diagnosing what's wrong.
Right.
So you need to do the same thing. And unfortunately, in this day and age, and this has no meaning to the people that helped you, but there's a lot of doctors that can't help. They have no idea. They just want to, turn and burn. And I've had the problem of having to rebuild myself lately, and I've had to find myself as a doctor, and I've been and put in all these different situations. And I think it's a very important thing that even if you have a broken ankle, that you understand what's wrong with yourself when you go into these situations so that it doesn't get worse, and you don't just listen to one person and do what they say, that you understand what you need.
Right.
And it makes a big difference. And you seeing all that and going through all that was probably had a self-realization how you wanted to help people then in the future with Warfighter Made.
Yeah, and that's what started it. My wife basically reached out to a family member who I'm fortunate enough that I have a 1969 Camaro.
Sweet.
So it was the first car. So my mom got this car in '71 as a high school graduation present. I came along in '74, and she parked it in '89, died in '96, and I was able to get the car in like 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And a patriot by the name of Dan Thompson, older gentleman, had a business, was really into cars, loved America, never served, and our paths crossed, and I went and deployed, and he picked up my car and started doing work to it because that was his way of giving back.
Cool.
Well, as time went on, that car had a couple different people get their hands on it, and it ended up in the hands of Butch Lynch at Imagineering Shop.
Yep.
And when I had my issue, Halima reached out to Butch and said, "Hey, Rob needs something. Rob, has to start getting out of the house and doing stuff. He loves turning wrenches. Can you have him help you on his car down at the shop?" And Butch was like, "Yeah, bring him down." And so as we were doing this, Butch would give me little tasks to complete. And I realized as I'm working on these, there's two things going on. One, I was concentrating so hard on not screwing up that it was giving me a relief from my stressors and my triggers. And I was also looking forward to driving this car, which, when you're depressed, the future is so far away that you don't even bother looking at it, right?
Yep. But if you set goals, you can look forward to them.
And so I'm like, man, I can't wait to drive this thing.
Yeah.
And so that started to become I can't wait to go down to Imagineering Shop and work on my car or help Butch with other things. And,
yeah, the catalyst to wake up in the morning.
yeah, and well, I'm still active duty, so this is all after I get off of work on the weekends and stuff like that. And then one day Butch and I were talking, and we were like, man, we should bring this to more people, and that's kind of what started Warfighter Made, the idea, and that's Warfighter Made's main mission is to adapt and customize vehicles for catastrophically wounded warfighters. Yeah. Basically, our brothers and sisters that went into a combat zone and became an amputee or severely burned due to direct action with the enemy.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that a little bit now too. So Warfighter Made is a fantastic organization, and for any of our audience that doesn't know what Warfighter Made is, a lot of people already do. You take wounded, or how do you say it, combat wounded?
Catastrophically wounded warfighters.
And you can put them in some sort of vehicle. A lot of times it's a Polaris Razor, and you give them recreational therapy.
Yep. Now we change that to adrenaline therapy.
Yeah. So it's pretty kick-ass. Like, you've done it a few times. So tell us a little bit about a couple of the trips. You've taken them to Moab, Utah. You've taken them to the dunes. You take them to Glen Helen and the races. And what other
races? We've been to Mammoth. We've been to.
What does a day in adrenaline therapy look like?
So, like the way that we've started doing it is we rent out Glen Helen Raceway.
Mm-hmm.
We invite all vets, all branches, all eras. Warfighter Made brings its off-road vehicles to the track.
Mm-hmm.
If you have your own off-road vehicle, it doesn't matter what it is. If you want to put it in the dirt, bring it. We've had dirt bikes, quads, sand rails, 6100 trucks, everything, SR1s. And we even had a bunch of active duty corpsmen show up in a bone stock Jeep Wrangler, and they were getting like 3 inches of air off the straightaway jumps, and you can hear them all. Everybody through a basic driver's course, or first it's a safety brief, then it's a driver's course, and the driver's course is designed, to get everybody the feel of how a Polaris Razor handles.
Yep.
And they're behind the wheel for a couple minutes just to accelerate, brake, left turn, right turn.
Just get their marbles, yeah.
Go around this course, see the center of gravity, and then we take them 5 at a time and put them out onto the Lucas Oil short course track, and we separate them by a decent amount. And there's no passing in corners. You can only pass in the straightaways.
Right.
Part of the safety brief is everybody has to hold their line, no driving,
screwing around, cutting people off and stuff.
Cross-track stuff. And, and that's – so the idea behind adrenaline therapy is while you're sitting behind the wheel of that Razor and you're getting ready to hit a jump or you're getting ready to slide it around, one of the turns, that – requires so much focus and so much attention that you don't have time to let your stressors, let your triggers.
Yep.
It actually takes you out of your mind which a lot of us get locked up inside of our
Absolutely.
mind. It takes you out, and all of a sudden you're smiling again. And for a lot of guys, it's all about re-experiencing the adrenaline that a lot of us
don't have anymore. Yeah,
because we're out of the military.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that are even like old motocross racers and different things like that do, well, even bicycle racers and stuff that experience those same things. A lot of the significance behind this is making it so, like you said, people don't get lost in their own minds. You brought up a statistic that 22 veterans unfortunately commit suicide daily, and this is helping stop that.
Well, it's giving veterans and even active duty service members, it's giving them another outlet, and what is stopping the suicides, or what's stopping the vets that are in contact with Warfighter Made from going through with it, is really the camaraderie.
Yeah.
It's letting the vets know that they're not alone. There are a bunch of people, there are a bunch of organizations, veteran-based nonprofits, that are here to help, that have been in the same situations that these guys have been in. And, it's just a matter of coming together and sitting down and talking about it, creating friends and networks and people that you can talk to about your issues before they become really big issues.
Yeah, something life-threatening. One of the cool things that I think that you guys do too is not just the adrenaline therapy, but you allow people to come down to the shop, you allow them to tweak on their own cars, and you allow them to just have the camaraderie.
And that's what camaraderie therapy we do at Warfighter Made
Yeah.
at our shop in Temecula. It's all about, again, all vets, all branches, all eras. And I keep stressing that because there's a lot of organizations out there, great organizations, but they're very focused on a specific military occupational specialty, or a lot of them are all post 9/11, which means if you served prior to 9/11, if you were in combat prior to 9/11, you don't qualify to be a part of those organizations.
But Warfighter accepts everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And we really have an affinity for our Vietnam veterans because we feel like, our Vietnam veterans got the raw deal.
Yeah.
And
not as many support mechanisms.
Yeah, and here it was, these men and women were just doing what their country asked of them, and they came back and it was less than ideal. So we always say now that my generation of warfighter is respected and gets the best treatment available because Vietnam veterans basically stood up after Vietnam and was just like, never again. Yeah. Never again will America turn on, its veterans or its service members like that. And so now it's my generation's responsibility to ensure that the next generation of warfighter is treated the same way.
Yep.
We can't fail and let that, let another Vietnam situation happen again.
Well, you're doing an amazing job, man. Before we get on to a couple more personal questions for you, how can people get in touch with Warfighter Made? I know it's at Warfighter Made on social media.
Yeah, at Warfighter Made, Instagram and Facebook. We have a YouTube channel. Go subscribe to that. And then, of course, our brand new, just launched website is warfightermade.org.
Sweet. So they can go there and get the contact information and hit you up.
Is everybody out there, are you guys seeing this? Does this right here just not make you happy?
It's making Brian happy over there.
Brian's happy because he's thinking about tacos.
So next time when I get in the car and I'm all, oh, dude, it hurts like a son of a... I'm just going to look at it and be like, nope,
no,
it doesn't.
No, absolutely
So
not.
my perspective is definitely going to change.
Let me give a shout out to Randy Sharp right there. Hey, man, he basically said, thank you for your service. And I just wanted to say, it was a pleasure to serve. So, but thank you very much. And of course, my stepmom is all up on there giving me a hard time. So.
Mike Gardner says, yeah, Big Rob.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that those people are tuning in, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. What's the What's the future hold for you? Like, I know 2020 is going to be a better year for you.
Oh, yeah, because 2019 has been tough so far.
Hey, you and me both, brother.
So, yeah, it's continuing, pushing on, reaching out to more vets. This year at our 5th annual open house car show, we were blessed to surprise 2 combat wounded single leg amputee soldiers. One is a female, the other one was a male. And we surprised the male, our brother Mitch, with a dirt bike.
Oh, yeah.
And Mitch had a unique story from the standpoint that, bikes were always his thing, and then just one day just sold everything and like immediately regretted it. But one of his brothers, who's a combat wounded double leg amputee, actually reached out to us and said, hey, I just want to make you aware of this guy, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, we're not asking for anything for free, but if you know anybody that has a dirt bike or, that, and it just so happened that one of our board members had a 2005 450F that he donated to us.
Dude, sweet.
And, so we took that, and he's Mitch is a left leg amputee, so he can't shift. So we hooked it up with a Clicktronic electric shifter.
Yeah, so you can just hit it on the band. Yep.
Push button, yeah. And then Baja HQ took the bike and went through it top to bottom, inside and out. And decal works. The bike looks amazing.
Sweet.
So we donated that to him, and then our girl Kendra Garza, another unique story where truly one of the few catastrophically wounded female veterans. And
what was her injuries?
She's a left leg above the knee amputee, and on a foot patrol in Afghanistan, and stepped on a pressure plate IED and detonated it.
Oof.
And, lost her leg. And, well, one of her friends who we had given a Polaris Razor to last year, Tim Hall, combat wounded double leg amputee racer, and he reached out to us and said, hey, I know someone that could benefit from having their own Razor. And so we looked into the situation, decided that Kendra would be a perfect applicant for this, and donated a brand new 2C Dynamics. And,
dang, how cool is that?
I mean, we're talking Desert Works caged it up. Baja Designs donated 5 LP6 lights, and then Desert Works created this kick-ass mount for it. PRP seats, Method race wheels, full throttle powder coating, did the cage and the wheels in red, and of course our main sponsor BFG hooked it up, and
that is so cool. They got it all dialed in for her then.
Yeah.
Dang.
When we surprised her with that thing, the waterworks were in full effect. There were a lot of people that had dust in their eye, and
that's stuff. So awesome though, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we,
has she taken it out yet?
She drove it around the parking lot. We had to bring her out from Georgia, so she's
got to take it home.
We're going to send it to her.
Yeah.
So we still need to do that, get it to her. But
I can't wait to see the smile on her face when she gets out of that sucker, dude.
We'll get it to her by early next year.
Well, that's a cool. I mean, you have so many cool stories about giving these people a therapeutic option and helping out so many people, man. It's just awesome. Do you have any do you have any fun plans with the family in 2020?
Man, the wife and I are trying to so the daughter's leaving us. She's moving to Colorado with her boyfriend. The boy is in Southern California. He's going to start going to school here pretty soon. He just got out of the Navy. And the wife and I are all about us right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's just doing stuff for us. I keep trying to get her to come to all the Warfighter Made off-road events, but she's not really.
She's going to have to come to a couple more. Yeah. Well, we know what she likes to do. She likes to go, film you with the goats playing with their dingleberries. So.
It was their danglies.
Danglies,
Okay.
that's what it's called.
It wasn't their dingleberries.
Okay, my bad.
They were on its neck, okay?
They look the same, dude.
But it was on their neck.
All right, you made a go happy today.
I played with those things big time.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, dude. You have some pretty awesome partners. You named a few of them that helped out with that razor, but hit us up and let us know who really helps you out, man. And I definitely want to give them a shout out, because without them, Warfighter Made wouldn't be giving all these cool things to all these people.
Yeah, Polaris Razor has been with us since the beginning, and that was due to Jason and Jeremy Merrill of UTV Wolfpack. Lucas Oil, BFG, Baja Designs, PRP Seats. PRP Seats, from the very beginning, I actually ran into the founder of PRP. Like literally, I was jogging on a trail.
Oh wow!
And I saw this, like, it looked like a shaved bear lumbering along this trail, and I'm like, this thing is amazing. I mean, I don't even know what this is. And then I ran up alongside of it, and I thought I was going to have to like tackle it and take it down and hog tie it, and all of a sudden I realized it's Aaron from PRP. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing out here? This is weird. And
oh man.
So one thing I learned from Aaron, talking about, I have a nonprofit, he has a business, and he basically said to me, he's like, Rob, I get hit up at least 5 times a day with people that have the greatest next thing, and everybody wants free product, and blah blah, and he was just like, it literally has become easier just to say no to everybody. I mean, we want to help people, but it's just so hard to tell between who's legit, who's not, who's really going to do what they're going to do. And
we hear that a lot these days, man.
Well, so he came up to me, or as we were, jogging, and this was over the course of, like many, many, many months. And, he was just like, or it basically came down to, well, what if I approach you and I say, hey, this is what I need. I will buy this from you at this price. And if I satisfy all the requirements that I'm pitching to you right now, you will then donate that money back to us.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he was just like, well, yeah, that's kind of like a win-win or a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because even if you skip out on me, I'm not losing anything. And so we've actually used that a lot with manufacturers. And, it turns out that once you offer that, a lot of the my buddy at Grounded 4 Suspension, I offered that to him, and he was just like, that tells me a lot about who you guys are.
Yeah.
I'm just going to donate everything because I get it. You know, I see what you're trying to do. And then we've done that successfully with a lot of, Sandcraft RCR we did it with. And,
that's an amazing way to go about it.
We did it with Cage Works, and so, yeah, it works out really well. And
like you said, it really shows who you guys are,
right?
As an organization.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Like I said, I'm really glad that you came down for the show. I'm glad that you were able to explain all that to us. I think there's still a lot more to your story. I think there's a lot more to your organization that people should check out. So definitely go to the new warfightermade.org website and check it out. Hit up Rob if you have any suggestions on people that could benefit from the adrenaline therapy, or even come down to the shop and hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest way to contact us is info@warfightermade.org. If you know a vet, if you are a vet, active duty, whatever the case may be, if anything that we've been talking about right now interests you and you think you can benefit from it, reach out to us and let's get the ball rolling and see if we can make something happen. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this in Maine or whatever the case may be, we have a budget to bring, people to us to experience this. But basically the 5-year plan is to open up something in Texas and open up something in North Carolina.
That would be
hadn't got to that yet, but I was just going to go ahead and throw it out.
That's cool, man. You got anything else to throw out there?
Your knee's smiling at me.
Dude, I was playing with it just a little bit. Well, that's cool, man. So the growth of Warfighter, I think, is going to be great if you can have all that stuff happen. I think you're going to help a lot of people in the future, and you're obviously doing a great job, man. So keep up the good work. Thank you very much for coming. Let's Let's go take a little pee break, and then we'll come back after hearing from our sponsors, and we'll talk tacos with the Rugged Radios guys.
Ew.
You don't like the Rugged Radios guys?
Love those guys.
I know. Those guys are awesome. So we will go to commercial break, and we will be right back.
For wheels and tires with the most style, function, and innovation, look no further than Fuel Off-Road. From stock to lifted, dually to trophy truck, and UTV applications, Fuel Off-Road offers the most complete lineup for your next adventure. Whether a weekend warrior or racer, you can't go wrong with Fuel's massive line of trail tough truck and UTV wheels and tires. Good looks, better prices, and the absolute best range of styles and applications. Find us at fueloffroad.com.
Introducing Rigid's new SRL Series light bar, featuring a sleek 20-inch curved housing, ultra-wide forward projecting beam pattern, and a unique halo backlight feature offered in 4 color options. The SRL Series light bar's new optic combination projects light over 70 degrees wide, with more than enough distance to safely drive in low visibility conditions, making it the perfect lighting solution for most applications. The Halo backlight feature is offered in red, white, blue, or amber, and is wired independently from the forward projecting light. Instantly transition from style to function with the flip of a switch, making it easier than ever to own the night.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Hey guys, George Hamill here to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Solder Weld. Who is Solder Weld, and what is their impact on the off-road community? Well, some of you may have seen Solder Weld's booths at the races, Lint 400, Vegas to Reno, Score and Snore events, and the UTV World Championship. You're seeing their stickers and sponsor wraps on more and more racers' vehicles every year. But who are they, and what do they have to offer us as off-road enthusiasts? Well, late last year, Solder Weld introduced their new off-road repair kit to the off-road industry and sold out their first week. The interest was overwhelming, as many off-roaders already knew of Solder Weld's aluminum radiator repair rods, and now they were included in a convenient carry kit in camo or black. If you're a racer of any type or off-road enthusiast like myself, you're going to want to take a close look at this product. Solder Weld has combined some of their most elite products into one small kit that fits perfectly under your seat or strapped into your roll cage and allows you to make some insane fixes anywhere you go. How many of us have been in a race or out on the trail and got a rock chip in a radiator or a brake line. We've literally seen a top-tier desert race truck at the 2019 Mint 400 taken out by a simple rock to the radiator. If they would have had an off-road repair kit on board, they could have been back up and running in just a minute. The kit includes everything you need to work on dirty aluminum, stainless steel, copper, and many other metals. Solderwell's cutting-edge technology allows you to make these fixes with extremely low heat and incredible high tensile strength, leaving you with a lasting fix every time. Don't be that guy who broke down on the side of the trail. Get your off-road repair kit today. Your friends will thank you. Yeah, buddy, we are back with the Rugged Radio guys, the Steves. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Stoked that you guys.
Welcome
you
to Taco Talk.
I know, Taco Talk. You got the three-wheelers in the background?
Well, yeah, of course.
Well,
Look, if they had to
you
look.
know, we were just sitting here, and we didn't even know you were going to call.
Right, yeah, we're just hanging out. Yeah.
That's what you guys do on a normal Monday night, tacos and three-wheelers?
Oh, yeah,
Right,
We just sit in front of the race bikes.
Right
Doesn't
on.
everybody do that?
Well, yeah, it's pretty much
You
standard
got to kind
operating.
of watch mine, though, because the fork seals leak a little bit. The 100 miles of racing kind of took a toll on them.
The 100 miles of racing or the 100 tacos that you ate?
Yes, and yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Clearly, we got
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clearly, we got Robert Blanton in the studio with us too. So it's a good group of guys tonight.
Wait, who is that?
Which guy?
I'll come flying over there right now, and I'll smack you both around.
Come on over. Anytime, buddy. Open invitation, man.
So Robert and I have a little history.
We have a great history. Steve was actually the
We
first.
do.
Bechard was actually the first person to ever run a Warfighter Made logo on his vehicle, the OG War Wagon, and it's been on
Exactly.
there ever since.
That was the Green Razor.
Yep.
The military Green Razor. That thing was sweet, dude. I always loved that car.
And then it went on to the other manufacturer. You know, that other one.
Yeah, who knows? I always loved that one though. That Razor was so cool. The design of that thing was. You came up with the design, Steve?
Yeah, well, so my daughter was deployed to Kosovo when I bought that car. Or right before she deployed, I bought that car, and my whole thought was I've got to do something, themed towards her being there. So she's
you in.
Oh, we're going to zoom in here. So she's a medic and a crew chief on a Black Hawk helicopter, medevac helicopter. So that's where the whole Red Cross and that whole theme came from. So, it's a pretty rad deal. And then when she came back from her deployment, it took me about 3 months to get clearance to actually do a big photo shoot and everything else on the tarmac with her birds. So it's a pretty rad deal. And then carried it on through my X3 and everything else because I don't want to let go of it. And then now my little three-wheeler's got the same paint scheme.
Dude, that is so
rad.
cool.
That's so rad.
That's pretty awesome, man.
And then Bechard's daughter, Beth, actually sent me the coolest picture in the world. She had a Warfighter Made patch on the back of her Gentex flight helmet as she's looking out the window of her Black Hawk, and it was just,
Really?
yeah, the Bechard family they're okay people. They're okay.
Well, let's take a step back.
Yeah,
They all right. They like tacos.
All right, I
so
love those guys. All right.
it's a win-win.
we've had a taco or two.
Let's take a step back and introduce yourselves real quick. So we got Steve Bechard and Steve Gonzalez, and they work at Rugged Radios. And what do you guys do at Rugged? Other than eat tacos.
What do we do? Wow.
What do we do?
Oh, man.
We eat tacos.
Right.
We play with pre-runners and three-wheelers, and occasionally we do some product development.
Every once in a while.
Well,
At least that's the Instagram and Facebook highlights.
yeah, exactly. So there's no work actually getting done.
They used to
we
provide some of
actually
the
work,
raddest customer
it's
service out there.
99% play, and then,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, Greg could be watching right now, so it's all work.
Right, no play.
All the play it just looks like play. It's actually work. So
Right.
You should see how much they got done today. How much paperwork they went through, man. Fantastic.
They went through all of it.
I got my homework done, Dad. Can I go play now?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. See, he gets it. I like this guy.
Exactly.
Well,
So to be serious, so Bechard and I do our official titles are product development. So we kind of we do a lot of traveling and a lot of we're actually interface with our customers a lot. We're in the field. We're out there working and fixing and kind of seeing what people are going through. So we figure out what can we do to improve the product. What can we do to make your life easier as a either racer, recreational user, or a business or whatever. And then on top of that, it's just whatever needs to be done. Anything and everything, you name it.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
And the cool part is being an enthusiast and being a racer myself and kind of being in so many different avenues I grew up. I've got pictures of me at 2 years old in my mom's lap in our sand buggy at Pismo Beach, which is really weird that I'm here now because I've been in Oregon for, I don't want to say how long I've been in Oregon.
It's been a while.
But it's been a long time. So having a person that is totally involved in the sport and everything, it really makes a difference because you know what people need and what people want. So
yeah, I was going to say
cool.
that a lot of us, or Robert, myself, Jason, Jeremy, Merrill, anybody, Matt Locks, all of us have benefited from your guys' eating taco escapades. But but for real, from the stuff
you're
that
welcome.
You're welcome.
But from the stuff that you guys do, there's been so many times when people are at the races and they go, "Oh, my radios are working like shit. I don't know what to do." And I'm like, "I've never had a problem, man. Mine are dialed. We're good." So a lot of that comes from the stuff that you guys do, and it trickles down. We were going to talk about it today, as one of our last questions, but I'll just ask it now. One of our customer or our audience people was saying that they wanted to be a customer of buying some new radios and stuff in their Yamaha YXZ. Right. And I said, well, I think they already have a kit for that. And it's obviously because you guys have developed it. So you guys have kits.
First of all, did you just say CB radio?
Right.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Ham radio, that's what I said. Hey, it's funny though that one of our friends that goes off-roading with us, her dad makes her keep the ham radio as a backup in her Jeep because he doesn't ever want her to not have communication. So the ham radio is always there just in case.
One is none, two is
Perfect.
one.
It saved my ass one time because I broke the Rhino way out in the desert and we couldn't use anything but that.
That's the reason why I keep a fire starter and a blanket with me, because if I got to start sending them smoke, I'm in there. But Warfighter Made uses rugged radio, so I don't have that issue.
Yep. So Warfighter Made uses rugged products. The UTV Wolfpack uses rugged products. I use rugged products. There's a lot of people that use rugged products. We had Kristen Matlock on the show. She uses rugged products.
We love the Matlock.
I saw that. That was a really cool show with Kristen.
She's a fantastic person. You guys had some fun down there with her too in Baja this 1000, didn't you?
We did.
Well, you know what's great is we're able to, in product development, unfortunately, sometimes you got to go to Baja. And when you're in Baja, you got to eat a taco or two or 100. but really, we're able to, everything we learn off-road, desert racers are the absolute worst when it comes to equipment. They are the most abusive. That is the worst application for any kind of equipment. You name it. It can be chassis, bearings, electronics, anything.
Clearly tires. Yeah, they tear shit up.
We learn a lot.
Right. Exactly.
So it's actually it's an ideal test bed for us, and we learn a lot. And everything we learn there, we apply it to our recreation stuff. So it's actually, and again, we get to eat tacos along the way.
And look at the recreational market. So 4 or 5 years ago, a complete system was an intercom and a radio and helmet kits and stuff. Now a complete system is intercom, radio, helmet, pumper system, the whole deal, all the stuff that the racers have been using for years, and it's all tested there, and that's what's brought into the market. So that's what's fun about it.
It definitely trickles down to the recreational user. Absolutely.
That new, I still haven't got to get one of the new pumpers, but that the new one with the blue and the carbon fiber, that one looks so sweet, man.
We have like 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, really?
And we have the variable controller, so if you want it full blast for whatever reason, crank it all the way up. If it starts to dry your eyes out, turn
Dude,
it
I live
down.
in Arizona. I'm going full blast 24/7.
Dude, it's rad. So
Is it dry in Arizona?
so we just put like I was saying, we're building that full race razor for Tim Hall, who's a combat wounded double leg amputee. Full rugged suite, but we're using 2 pumpers, and both are on their separate controllers because Tim, being a double leg amputee, runs warmer than you and I, because same blood volume, less surface area to cool it.
Right.
So now what he's going to be able to do is he's going to be able to take the pumper, the one in his helmet, right? But then he can take the other hose and he can run it into his suit.
Oh,
He can do
bitchin'.
whatever he wants to do to try and keep that going.
So he can cool off.
Yeah, he can cool off. So looks like we lost some rugged guys. But yeah. And then of course full comm suite and intercom and all that stuff. So
There we go.
yeah, so he'll be able to.
You guys still there?
Yep.
We're here.
All right, we lost you for a second.
So you'll be able to cool him off pretty easily then, huh?
Well, I mean, definitely keep him more comfortable. And then we're going to actually reveal that racer or that race car, that race machine at the Mint 400 during the military challenge.
Wow, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, so
It'll be neat to see the way that you guys do that. That's actually cool that you can use those products that they develop, obviously, for different things than what they're supposed to be used for. I mean, you think, okay, I got a pumper, I'm going to stick it on my helmet, but you're doing it even better.
well, I mean, yeah, we've yeah. There's some other ideas that we've been working with PRP trying to perfect and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so him using dual pumpers for a driver and co-driver. Obviously, he can use the one in his helmet, and then he can have the other one run it down his race suit, whatever the case may be, because he's a double leg amputee and so on and so forth. I went through this long diatribe about it. You guys lost connection. Not our fault. All right. So, Rugged, thank you so much for the support.
Back now? Can you hear us?
Yes.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was you guys obviously, brushed on the product development stuff, but in all seriousness, there is a lot of product development that happens with you guys, and a lot of it's fun product development as well. You guys build vehicles yourselves personally. You build vehicles for the company, and you guys do a lot of product development and testing in those vehicles. Can you give us a couple examples of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as the vehicles go, I mean, we were talking Polaris before. We do a lot of vehicles for Destination Polaris for the television show. We do Project X vehicles, plus we're the main sponsor for Destination Polaris, so we're definitely in tight with those guys. Our most recent build, obviously so dear to my heart, was a tribute to my brother, which was our RS1.
Yep.
Oh, we can show it. Yeah, actually, we can move. We are mobile.
We are mobile.
So we've got the RS1 that was now an SS1, like a Funko type car.
God, that thing is so cool, dude.
Wait till you hear the story behind it.
Yeah. It's honestly one of the best handling cars I've ever driven. So
Yeah, for sure. It is.
It's got, so Greg totally surprised me with this. So this is the owner of Rugged Radios. He started out as, hey, Steve, we need to do another Project X. I'm really busy with our new building and everything. Just go get a car, start the process and everything. So I literally went and bought an RS1 kind of on a whim. We had talked about doing a SS1, kind of a Funko deal because of my brother. Had no idea where this was going to end up. We started building.
By the way, you guys are going to make him cry in just a minute.
Right. So we started building the car. Greg gave me full reins to do whatever I wanted. I talked to Grant and Gil, went down to Funko, these panels right here are literally off of a 71 SS1. We popped a mold off of those, started building the car. About 2 weeks before the show needed to film, all of a sudden Greg made me too busy to go down to the fab shop. During the unveiling, this rolled out. I knew something was up. I had no idea. Dedicated the whole car to my brother. This is actually my brother's signature off of his driver's license. Everything about this car, our little racing logo and everything. But the coolest part of the whole car, obviously the PRP seats that I had embroidered on there. I had no idea that his signature was going to get in there. But the biggest thing is this steering wheel right here. That was the steering wheel that was in my brother's car. That was the last thing he was holding on to when he passed away in our Class 10 car. So that in itself is just crazy. And then, of course, he put the little "to the finish" up on top just to kind of show, remind me every time I'm in the car. So pretty rad deal.
That is super rad. I mean,
I couldn't be prouder to work for Greg Cottrell, work for Rugged Radios, everything. So
that is a super cool story.
Pretty cool. Super cool.
Yeah, I mean, it just gives me chills. It gives me chills hearing that story. I mean, the car itself is phenomenal by itself.
Yeah. Oh,
we were.
It's amazing, and to have that platform to do it on, and literally the first time I got to drive it, it was at Glen Helen. Which was totally rad. So we just had an Uber driver show up to bring us dinner.
Walking away.
Sweet.
Well, we're hungry, by the way.
One of the things that I wanted
tacos, but we weren't in Mexico.
Right.
One of the things that I wanted to touch on why you guys.
By the way, we think it's real cute that you guys eat tacos north of the border.
Right.
That's just hilarious.
There you go.
Real cute.
We knew we were starting a war when we called them out, dude.
Right. We're like, we can't get Mexico tacos here, so we don't even want to try. Unless we're doing Taco Bell to be funny, we don't even want to do it.
Right?
Well, we got to admit, there are some really delicious tacos down there in Ensenada.
They look pretty good, yeah.
The ones down in Ensenada
Baja Burro.
Yep.
So Baja Burro down in Estero Beach.
Yep.
They have the Steve Squared taco, and that taco was built around us. So it's fish and shrimp,
fried
grilled shrimp.
Oh, my dad could probably get along with that one. That sounds pretty good, man.
Right.
Perfect.
And then of course we have our 32, which was
that thing's cool,
build prior to the RS1. Super rad car. The looks on people's faces when we take this down to the dunes and go huck it 40, 50, 80 feet is priceless. So,
that thing is rad, man. And
this is a fun car for sure.
So before we go on and look at any more of these cars, I know you guys got to eat too. So I'll just say this: one of the reasons that we started this show was to understand all the camaraderie and stuff that the off-road industry has. And just hearing your story about the vehicle that you built in honor of your brother is pretty amazing, because that just shows what kind of people you're working around, and obviously the people that we're all here on this call and sitting together and. Just everybody, man. It makes me happy to see that. You gave me the chills when I heard the story. Like, it's so freaking. It puts a smile on my face, obviously for a bad reason, but for a good reason, because it shows how much everybody cares about each other. I love that, man. It's so rad.
Absolutely, right.
That's what makes
and honestly, it goes even further. I mean, just like Rob with helping out all the veterans and everything. We had one of our own, Taryn, with breast cancer here. So she's 32 years old. With full-blown breast cancer. Greg did everything imaginable to help that girl out. Donating, we did sold radios, donated, I think it was almost $70,000 or whatever towards her bills.
Oh, wow.
Towards Mission Hope. And, it's just an incredible place.
Well, it's one of those things that the camaraderie, that it's the perfect word for it. And this is a unique company in that, Greg, the owner, he truly leads. It's from the top down. This is not a company where the owner's telling you need to do this, you need to meet these numbers, you need to do that. He is in the trenches. King of the Hammers, for example. King of the Hammers, we go out and we spend I think this year it's going to be 10 or 11 days
Right.
out in the middle of the desert, doing anything and everything we can to make sure racers have a good race.
Yep. Make sure that our racers or any racer has perfect communications.
And
That's our goal.
And think about this. Greg, the founder, the CEO, president of the company, he is there in the trenches. Should he be there? Absolutely not. He should be at the office getting shit done.
Right.
But he's there in the trenches with us because he's an enthusiast. Like, we're all off-roaders. We know what it's like. We know what it's like to race. And everyone in the building is that way. You know, so it's absolutely the camaraderie, the team effort, the sense of community, whatever you want to call it. It is unbelievable. And we talk about, it's like no other place I've ever worked.
It's got to put a smile on your face and wake up in the morning.
We get customers. Yeah, we get customers that come in and then will literally walk over and go, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe the energy that's in this building."
And that's what's always
it's just everybody that's in here. There's 40 some people that are in here, and everybody's excited to be at work. Everybody is just ecstatic. It's fantastic.
And anytime you go to a Rugged Radio booth, whether it's at the Mint or it's at King of the Hammers or whatever the case may be, you walk up there and everybody is having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's almost like you're walking by and you're like, I don't need any comm stuff, but man, they're having so much fun. I got to walk over there and see what's up.
Right.
And it's usually led by those two degenerates right up there on that screen, you know.
Just fucking around.
What you don't know, what you don't know is we haven't slept in 3 days and we're crying on the inside.
Right.
Just falling apart.
We're just blowing bubbles. It's fine.
That's awesome. Well, let's go into like how you guys did out in Baja, because I know you were down there for a few days. You guys had a good time. You obviously got to eat tacos and stuff. What were some of the significant things that you guys got to do? I saw some pictures of you guys tuning on radios, having fun.
Oh man, we did. So
Go ahead.
So the 1,000 last year was literally the first time Rugged has gone to Mexico in any capacity early for the sole purpose. Well, not the sole purpose, but the driving force was, let's go have a good time. So we actually went a few days early. We did what we called the Rugged Taco Tour, and we pre-ran last year. We pre-ran about 600 miles of the course, which I was blown away when we added it up.
Wow.
But we actually, you know, we had a few vehicles with us. We took some radio gear. We always take our test gear, so if we meet anyone on the trail, we can help, do anything we can to help them. And we were like, you know, giving people product. We were testing and tuning radios, like literally out in the middle of the desert, just because we'd run into someone and they'd say, "Oh man, I need to get a radio programmed or antenna or whatever, but I don't want to bug you guys now." But that's why we're there. Like that's right. That's the excuse of why.
Right. That was our reason for going.
Exactly.
Our racers are out on course pre-running, so we need to be there with them.
Exactly. So this year was super unique in that I took my daughter Matea, Steve took his daughter Beth, and then Greg took his son Jaden, and so we were able to. And it was all of their first time in Baja.
Right. And then this year, for the first time, we all had our own pre-runners.
Right. Well, I use Greg's, which is perfect.
Right. He's on the rental program.
Right.
So I don't even know. It's like Enterprise or Hertz. Right. I don't know what it is.
Instead of money, I pay for it with like zero sleep. And tears.
But anyway, for the most part, we ran I put 1,200 miles on my pre-runner when we went down there.
2,000 miles on Wilson, our Bronco.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, I trailered mine down. Somebody had to put something on a trailer just in case something needed to be on the trailer coming back. So
yeah, exactly.
But it was it's interesting. Like that trip, as any good Baja trip, it did not go as planned, and we had breakdowns and we had issues, and what's funny is we and our kids got to experience every bit of Baja, including pre-running, tacos, breakdowns. We at one point we had one truck that was just down and could not move. So Bechard went into Ensenada. We were 3 hours out.
Yeah. So I took my truck that the transmission was not happy and decided to make a 3.5 hour trek into Ensenada to get parts with it. Right. Seems logical.
Right. Yeah. So Bechard shows up, and you can tell.
Yeah. So I come rolling in, and of course, lights blazing and everything. And I get there. There's a huge bonfire going. The truck is jacked up. The steering box, everything's out of the truck. And these guys are watching Dust to Glory around the campfire in the middle of Baja. Right?
It was perfect. We had a good time.
So honestly, we were very prepared for anything that was going to come up.
That's right.
Oh, we were drinking coffee, by the way, too.
Yeah, we're going to call it coffee.
Grandpa's cough syrup.
Yeah, little Grandpa's cough
Right,
syrup.
right, exactly. It's like Robitussin, kind of.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing though. Like what I get from stories like that is, you guys are joking about it, but there's a lot of seriousness behind it because there's a lot of benefit to going down and doing those things because you're teaching yourselves how to fix things on the fly. I mean, there's obviously communication things that you guys, that other racers benefited from, pre-running, all that stuff. That's bitching.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, keep it down. Greg, the owner.
Greg just walked in. Apparently, he saw the lights on.
Right.
What did he bring tacos? Hi, Greg.
No, he didn't.
What's going on in here?
Right.
What's going on?
Hey, Greg.
So Greg's been all. Well, you've been down at the pit, haven't you?
I'm not bringing tacos. I'm bringing one of these and one of these. So I'm warmed up and ready.
Hey, I saw Greg's
so
10
these
days.
guys get out of line. They know what's coming to them.
I saw
right
Greg's
hand or a head kick, one of the two.
I saw Greg's 10 days of martial arts challenge on Facebook. You know,
How'd that go?
Yep.
it was every 10 days.
It was good for him. It wasn't good for us.
It was fine. It was easy.
Hey, it's try and keep up with me.
Right.
I keep telling them that Friday night they need to come train with me at the pit. I teach a sparring class. And I mean, it's freeing when you get hit in the head. So I said it's a good thing. It just makes you feel alive. But they don't show up. I don't get it.
No.
Because we're busy at work paying for Broncos.
Because apparently you're a slave driver, Greg.
You know what? This is supposed to be rugged radios.
Right.
Rugged. That's tough and rugged.
Well, Greg, do
I don't know. We got
whatever you
Taco
do.
A and Taco B.
Whatever you do, don't watch this episode because you'll be very disappointed.
Right. Exactly. Just erase it after this is done. We'll be fine.
You know what? I'm going to watch this episode before Friday night sparring so they have to come in afterwards. Okay.
That's their punishment.
Right.
Look at Bechard's crying right now.
Like French fries.
Well,
We ordered in because we were getting hungry, and then it showed up, and I know. Right.
Okay. Well, I'll let
It's
you
okay.
finish.
It was on the company card.
Oh, great. A bottle of something right there. Wow.
Bottle. What's that?
We're
What's
not
that bottle?
drinking. It's fine.
We're just talking about Grandpa's cough syrup.
Okay, I'm going to go home. I'm tired.
All right, Greg. Thanks for stopping by.
We'll see you later,
Bye,
Greg.
Greg.
Have a
I'm
good
outta
one.
here.
That's funny. I love having laughs like this, dude.
Hang on, he's not out yet.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Don't say anything
Keep it
bad.
down.
Don't say it.
Keep it
Don't say
down.
it yet.
Well, yeah. So it sounds like that taco tour ended up being pretty cool. So what was that like? What was the catalyst behind that?
Absolutely.
I mean, was it just eating tacos, or what's the actual program?
Well, the initial part, I mean, the obvious part is to be out on course, helping our customers out. And even if they're not our customers, just helping anybody that we come across. And I don't know if you guys have been down. Well, I know Robert has. I don't know if you have, George. But
Yeah, I have.
being down there in that environment is amazing. And we just want to be there. And yeah.
Well, it's you guys know. If you've been to, you either know or you don't. I mean, it's Baja, and it's like the whole taco thing, and we joke about it, and people ask me, well, where's the best taco in town? It's like, you know what, tacos here are okay, but if I want a taco, I'm going to eat it in Mexico, and that's for dirt. I mean, racing, it doesn't matter. We have some great sanctioning bodies that run races in the U.S., and they're amazing. But let's face it, they're under restrictions. They have to operate within certain guidelines. Okay, Mexico, well, it's the Wild West, and
there's
and it's
absolutely
amazing.
nothing like it.
No, and it's amazing in a lot of ways, and it's a pain in the ass in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, it's just there's nothing like it. And and I have to say, pre-running the course and taking my daughter for the first time to see Baja. She's been to Mexico and she likes it. I took her to mainland a while back, but it's not the same. Like, Baja is just this magical place. And not only that, we've made a lot of connections over the years and a lot of friendships. Baja Bro, we keep talking Baja Bro, just down the street from Estero Beach. They're amazing. And they're like family. Like, these people, like, literally, we drive up and they're just like hugs, kisses, and everything, you name it. What do you want?
Right.
And I tell Bechard and everyone else all the time, that family reminds me of my family. And, when I eat there, it's like I'm eating at my mom's house. And
You're just saying that because there's a Steve Squared taco.
Right.
Well,
get this. So my birthday was in September. On my birthday, they called and literally all of them sang happy birthday to me on my birthday.
No shit.
Almost made me freaking tear
That's
up.
pretty badass,
holy
man.
Crap.
It
is family.
You're a
It's
local
more
at the
family
taco
than
shop
my
when they call you.
Well, not only that, so I keep forgetting about this. So King of the Hammers this year, which we go to King of the Hammers and we get our asses kicked. Like, it's brutal. Like, it's a love-hate relationship.
With this
like
now.
we love the people that go, and we have people from all over the world, all over the country, and they're amazing. Like, they're just amazing. They're polite, they're nice, they're appreciative. And on the other hand, we're in the freaking desert for 11 days. Yep. We work anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a day. It's just obscene, and it's an ass kicker. So we had some friends in Ensenada that were coming up to meet us at King of the Hammers. So the Baja Borough sent us all of the fixings for tacos to King of the Hammers.
No,
and it was just unbelievable. Like, what a treat.
Dude, I thought I was cool with taco shops. Like,
that's a different level right there.
They know my name, but dude, like, this is so next level tacos.
That's another level right there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Do me a favor. Try to keep up.
Well, I think I'm actually doing. I was talking to Robert. Like, I kind of have a feeling that we might be relocating to Southern California, so I might just have to tag along with you guys. I'll just shadow you guys for a couple years.
6 hours to Pismo from where we're at. Let's do it.
FYI, pretty soon we're building a brand new complex.
Oh yeah,
4 buildings, one big main building, and then 2 little warehouses and workshops, and then a 4th building, which is a coffee and taco shop modeled after Greg, the owner, modeled after his dad's first motorcycle shop.
Nice.
And it's coffee and tacos. And it's gonna be game on.
And we're bringing the Burho family up to teach us how to make those tacos. Yep. So it will be authentic Mexico tacos.
Are you guys hiring?
That's awesome.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. We need 30 people, by the way.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll put in an application.
Right. Well, it's really horrible to live, Pismo Beach.
It's rough.
It's horrible. The weather's always nice. It's crazy.
Oh, so that's where the shop. That's where the new shop is going to be.
Traffic, so you hate it.
So the new shop's going to be in Pismo then?
It's Arroyo Grande, same city we're in now. It's about 2 miles away from our current building.
Oh, cool.
But we're just literally bursting at the seams. Yeah. Anytime we need to do anything, we need to move something to do.
Yeah, apparently you guys have
we've got all of our stuff is spread out over 2 or 3 areas. So with warehouses and everything else, it's just really a pain. This new facility is going to to be fantastic.
Look at all you guys' toys in the background. Of course you're busting out at the seams.
Yeah,
must be rough.
Hey, no. Hey, hold up. Let's get something right, okay? These are race bikes, not toys. Okay, please.
So one of our buddies,
touche.
Yeah, one of our buddies here in Arizona. He's like addicted to ATC 70s, and I think he's got 10 or 11 of them. He's restored them all, and so they're all different. But I think
we're a little over.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think he'd have a good. I think he'd have a good time just walking through the shop and just checking those things out, man. Those are sweet.
No, it's fun. We're a little over the top. Yeah.
So. The little video that you posted of us, that was the Gambler 100, right? I think that's what they called it. Anyway, the Gambler 500. So Tate totally calls us out. They're going to do this mini bike race up in Oregon. And
let's
it's
preface
100
this a little bit. So
miles, and he's
what
like,
Steve is talking about is a ATC 70 race. So for the people that didn't see it on social media, it's like on a full on, well, I don't know, moto mini track, and it's like they're all big guys riding ATC 70.
It's a 5-mile course. It's not a track.
So anyway, yeah, Tate with the Gambler 500 totally calls us out. And he's like, you guys need to come up here, up to Oregon and do this race. Well, Oregon, that's like my home turf right there. So, and literally, so this course, I raced AA quad on this same desert course before. So, I mean, I'm totally, and it's literally about 25 minutes from where I lived when I was up in Oregon. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to go. And next thing you know, Greg's like, we're in. So we tell Tate, we're coming. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He goes, insurance and three-wheelers, and we can't do this. I'm like, you call this out, we're coming. So it's done. So we totally show up and crash their party. There's, I don't know, 100 mini bikes there, something like that. But it is literally,
200.
It was crazy how many freaking of these little mini bikes were there. And, you know, we just literally, we didn't even sign up. We just literally pulled up to the line and just took off.
Yeah, well, we didn't just take off. We got reamed.
Well, which was
the track manager right before we started.
But, you know, he was worried. He was concerned about insurance, and we weren't. So there was a little bit of conflict. But he said, don't crash.
Yeah, he said, don't crash, don't hurt anyone, and don't get anyone's way.
Right. So as it comes to find out, the three of us are basically top 5 speed around this course. Had the time of, I've raced a lot of things. I've raced quads, I've raced bikes, I've raced UTVs, class 10 cars, you name it, I've been in it. Top 5 races of my life. So fun. So when you do the 5 miles, your hot pit, you know, most people take on gas. We might have had hydration every
more Grandpa's cough syrup.
Yeah, more.
Right. But the cool thing is I had a couple buddies from Oregon that I raced the quad cross series with. One of them in particular, he showed up, so he made a few laps out there with us. My daughter got on a bike and did a couple laps, and it was just so fun, you know. And I mean, in all honesty, coming from the racing background, ever since I got hurt and not been in a car racing wise, I've had so much more fun. Pre-running, doing the little 3-wheeler stuff, just relaxed, having a good time.
You take all the pressure off.
Yeah.
And then on top of relieving any kind of pressure of winning or racing, it's just ridiculous. It's grown men on tiny 3-wheelers, literally driving them or riding them as fast as we possibly can. And just, I mean, we're literally giggling the entire time. And then the whole time we're all wired up with radios. So we're talking the entire time. And you can imagine the hilarity that's just
right. Well, tell them about the guys that said that I can't believe you guys are so courteous.
Oh, right. So we're cruising and
they think they're courteous.
Right. There was literally 2 bikes that were faster than us. And really that's only because we would ride and stop and ride and stop. And hydrate. So these guys are pretty fast. But so anytime we'd see them coming up, we'd hear someone behind us, look behind, and the last guy would call out, hey, we got a bike on the left. We'd all pull over at the same time, let him bike because he's racing and we're just fucking around. And they were like, dude, we got 2 things. One, we can't believe how fast you guys are. Actually, there's 3 things. The first one was, oh my God, I can't believe you guys ride those death machines. Right? 2 was, we can't believe how fast you guys are. And then the third was, you guys are so nice.
Hey, you guys need more hydration too.
Right, exactly.
But no, it was just.
Does that mean that the event's going to continue?
We've been looking for a race to go to.
We have been. And actually, David Uptain had called us out because he was going to do some sort of 3-wheeler thing at some...
It was in Kentucky.
Rags to Riches or some, I don't know, some big thing back where they drive through mud and all that stuff. And we were literally planning on flying out, taking the bikes, and going.
Yeah, were planning to put our bikes on pallets with like pit boxes and like chase stuff and shipping them to Kentucky, but we just ran out of or maybe clearer heads kind of prevailed. But
that seems
anyway,
like a lot of effort for
seriously.
seems like a lot of effort for some mini death machines in the mud.
It is.
You shut your mouth.
But
I want to job at Rugged.
it's just, in all honesty, it's a great way to blow off steam.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, and that's what it comes down to. There's literally a million other things we should be doing, but at the end of the day, that's our therapy. Like, and we've got all kinds of fun cars at work. We've got the marketing, the off-road builds, and the Razors, and the new Kawasaki and Honda, and we've got pre-runners and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just like it's so simple that it's therapy for us, and that's how we kind of just reset. Go out and have a good time on something ridiculous that has zero pressure.
Yep.
And it's just fun.
Well, Camp Razor is a prime example. We showed up 2 years ago, and we probably had, in custom builds, probably $300,000 in freaking UTVs sitting there. And we literally rode our three-wheelers that we paid $900 for
Non-stop.
the whole time.
I think I saw a VIP out there.
Easy.
Yeah, I think I saw a VIP guy out there named Chuck Beaver. Did you guys know him?
Chuck Beaver.
Name sounds familiar.
It does.
AKA Jeremy Merrill.
Oh, Merrill? Oh, well, he's always got a wig on or something,
That's Chuck.
Poor guy.
Jeremy, he totally hijacked my three-wheeler when they did the whole Rockstar Energy thing down here at Pismo.
Right.
Yep. When they mobbed the whole motorhome into the beach. And that's right. That got cut.
Yeah.
Take that off the internet, off the interweb. It can't be seen.
Nobody heard it.
But, that was no, we love the Merrill boys, for sure. For sure. And I've known them for a long time with racing UTVs and everything else. So, no, well, you guys know it's a small world when it comes to racing off road, for sure.
Yeah, It goes back to that whole camaraderie thing. Those guys mentored me a lot and got me into the whole side by side thing. That's why.
That's why you are the way you are. Is that what you're saying?
What? Yeah, that's how Robert and I met. That's how I met. A lot of guys in the industry, and it was really cool to have those guys, kind of at least lead me in the right direction. I may not have made a couple of my own decisions along the way, but
right. Few bad turns,
but
here and there.
That's okay. They make bad turns too. It's fine.
So, is there really any chance of some sort of three-wheeler thing going on? Because I kind of have a feeling that those types of things are going to be more prominent in the future.
Oh man,
coming back big
we're
time.
constantly scanning. We're just we're trying hard right now to make time for that kind of stuff, because it's at the end of the day, again, that's our reset. And every time a little three-wheeler race pops up or something, we're just all over it. We're like, we got to do this. And so there's we've got our eyes on some stuff.
Yeah, sweet. Wait, it's not three-wheeler. It's not three-wheelers and tacos, but Robert and I have been talking about it, and I've been talking about it with some of my other friends. But in September of next year, we're going to do an off-road across America. We're going to go from, up in Steve neck of the woods, and we're going to go from Oregon all the way down to South Carolina on the Trans-America Trail. We're going to obviously
on three-wheelers, I hope.
Yeah, all on three-wheelers. We're going to take side-by-sides, dual sports. We're all going to ride little zingers, the little three-wheel zingers, two-strokes.
Yes, why zinger? That's where it's at.
But the reason I bring it up is because I think it's going to be pretty fun. I think everybody will need communications and stuff, and it'll be a pretty cool little deal, too. So I love events like what you're talking about, three-wheelers.
So are you doing it in UTVs, or what are you doing it in?
My goal is to do it on a dual sport bike, but we're going to bring some UTVs with some people that may or may not be able to ride dirt bikes. So it's still in the works. We still have a little bit of development to do, but I think it's going to be super fun. And what we'd like to do is introduce some dealer networks in with, we're going to do a ride day, press day the whole time. And then when we do the press day, we can invite the people in the local dealers to come on, and we're going to try to raise some money for some spinal cord research. Robert goes with us. We'll try to raise some money for his organization and just have a good time across the country. Meet a bunch of people and have a good time.
Absolutely. So, when you're ready to do that, we do all the stuff with comms on bikes and all that. In fact, we're doing a lot with Wolf Enduro and California Dual Sport Riders. What's the other one, the video that we just got? where the
Oh man, where the road ends.
Where the road ends. So
right up your alley, Rob.
A little more about it. So they did.
I'd definitely be interested to talk more about that. That's
Arctic
cool.
Circle down to the. I think it was. They went through the the Darien Gap, and which is just it's South American jungle, like untouched South American jungle.
Yeah.
At one point, they literally they were 30 minutes ahead of like drug cartels and like
whoa,
in every sense of the word of just everything you can imagine as far as a cartel being chasing you with guns and ammo and everything else, like cutting through the jungle.
Sounds
and these guys
fun.
are
Where do I
literally
sign
dragging.
up?
That's crazy.
Exactly. Well, the thing is they're all vets.
They're all vets. Unbelievable.
This was their therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was their. You talk about the PTSD and just Rob. We watched you and listened to you talking about family and all that kind of. I'm not military. I have a lot of friends that are military. I've done some endurance events with Go Ruck, if you guys have heard of that.
Oh yeah.
With a lot of military and ex-military people, and it's just the camaraderie, the family, the sense of just I will do anything for you is unbelievable. And these guys did all of that on a handful of these kind of adventure or dual sport bikes, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
And like literally drag these bikes through the jungle.
Yeah. I literally, what stands out to me is when I watched this little 4-minute promo, and we've been involved in this since before they even left, obviously.
Yeah.
But they were literally going up a river. The river was their trail because there wasn't a trail.
Right.
And then they were using machetes to cut stuff down so that
Oh,
they
I
could
saw
pave their
that.
way through.
I saw that.
Yeah, and one of the guys like literally totally looks at the camera and he goes, "You can't quit
Yeah.
because there's nowhere to go.
What do you do? Lay down in the jungle?
You have no option."
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
To understand
It
the
is.
context behind it now makes it so much gnarlier than the clip.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh
cow!
my God! It's
Yeah.
In fact, they just sent us a restricted viewing kind of, I don't know, it was a 4-minute kind of promo, and it gave me chills because I met these guys. They were coming through. In fact, they came through here, Arroyo Grande, and on the way there, they were going down south to kind of start the whole adventure, or actually they had already been north, but it was just unbelievable. Like, I'm looking at these guys and I'm talking to them like, you guys are about to set off on this just adventure of, I mean, adventure of a lifetime doesn't seem to kind of grasp what they actually did.
Well, I think you can
it was
qualify as an adventure of a lifetime, but there's got to be some screws loose though too to be able to like think that you're gonna do that. Like for sure. Like I mean,
But the
seriously
cool thing
though.
is
I've seen,
But you know what?
so we've worked with Wolf Enduro, and
Amazing guys.
local organization, fantastic. If you
Yep.
want to go do a couple day
man.
ride, look up Wolf Enduro.
Real people too.
If you want to go to South America and do something like that, good on you.
That's like
Right.
straight out of a movie though. Seriously, that
Yeah.
is insane. Well, more power
Oh,
to
it
him
is,
though.
yeah.
And
Right.
so let's go back. Let's take a step back. I definitely want to talk more about the dual sport shit because I'm super into it. But maybe we can do that for another show. The taco tour.
Made from pride.
That's okay. You're the taco tour. You guys are going to bring back though, right? So it's going to be an annual thing now, or
it's an annual. It's the Baja 1000. So, but it actually started with the 500 with Steve and I 2 years ago. And
100 tacos in
yeah, we ate 100 tacos in 2 days, and that's what started the whole deal. So,
well, if you guys are down for it, I'd like to get the Dirt Life involved in that and join one of these times. One of the things on my bucket list, and I talked to Chris and Matlock about this, was I've never got to pre-run any of the race course or anything. I've clearly been down to Baja and raced and stuff, but I've never got to.
Right.
I've never got to have what you said, Steve, is that the fun time, the relief
Which
time.
one?
Just going down there and having a good time. Like I've never got to experience that, so I want to do that.
Well,
That's on my bucket list.
So I'll get we do get to have a good time here every once in a while. I'll give you an example. So last year at the 1,000, which was the first time we'd really done kind of an official, like, let's go early, let's have some fun, let's blow off some steam. And so we rugged bought it's a 96 Bronco pre-runner that it was done, and we've just done some updating to it and that kind of thing. But it's been stretched 17.5 inches. It's linked, bypasses, coilovers, all that good stuff.
It makes up for his poor driving.
Yeah, right. So we go down to Baja, and like, we've never had this thing out, and we kind of scrambled to get just some odds and ends done on it, updated. It's like, yeah, it's good enough. And we're pre-running this section. We had done, the 1,000 ran the opposite way that it went this year. So getting back to Ensenada on the last part of the course was coming up the beach, coming north up the beach.
Up the Pacific side.
Yep, in Ensenada. And so we're this is, I think, probably my favorite part of the section.
He was driving, I was scared.
Right. He was squealing like a girl.
He keeps saying that don't you wish you could drive like me? And I say no. So we and this is, mind you, like, this is our Baja service truck, and we got it because, well, we like to have fun, and we justified it by saying it's our service truck, and it actually has worked really well because we loaded up with tools, products. So if we see anyone on the trail, we can help, we can test, tune radios, replace, like anything you need for communications. We can do it out of this truck. Plus, we can offer them a cold beverage from the ARB fridge,
right.
Or a hot coffee from the K-Cup,
or
Nespresso, or whatever the heck it is.
Either one you want, you can choose.
All classified as hydration.
Right. So we're coming up the beach, and we come up on this Y in the road, the dirt road, and there's this super high end F-150 pre-runner on one side, and then the trail goes up this way. And he stops, so we pull in right behind him, and just to check, hey, make sure you're okay. And he gets out of his truck and walks back. He's like, hey, guys, how's it going? And he said, hey, we're just checking up on you, make sure you're okay. And he says, yeah, we're good. He's like, just to let you know, there's a big sill bed over here, and there's a giant rock in the middle of it. You guys are four-wheel drive. You should be fine. And Steve and I look at each other. We're like, well, we're not here to work, so we'll go around that shit. And So we back up, and he backs up too, and goes up the way we were going, and he takes off, and we're following behind him, and like, he just goes, like, he leaves us, he's fast, and we're just cruising, and just kind of just Wilson the Bronco, we're just eating whoops and that kind of thing, and driving through the rough, and I see the dust cloud, and I joke to Steve, like, hey, I'm going to catch that F-150, and we have a laugh, ha ha ha, whatever. Well, pretty soon we're kind of starting to catch him, and then it's like, I'm going to catch that F-150, So we're bombing this thing through the desert. And
so he's bombing, I'm scared.
Right. He's like a cat, like clawing at every surface he can. And finally we get within one or two car lengths of the F-150. I'm like, I'm happy. Cool. And we get to this beach section, and we pull over, and we're probably 20, 25 minutes ahead of everyone else. Mm-hmm. And Greg, the owner, pulls up. And we already have the hood up on the Bronco because the front shocks are literally boiling. And anyway, Greg gets there and pretty much gave him a hug and said, thanks, Papa. Good ride.
Holy smokes, man. Yeah, so maybe that's too much for me.
It was just one of those things that, like, you don't experience that kind of thing unless you've been on a course in Baja.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, especially that beach section. I would argue there are few things like it in off-road.
It's kind of like that thing you were talking about with the Godfreys. You never know until you have the story. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, until you actually experience it.
Without a doubt.
That's super cool.
Right. And also talking about
all
the Baja.
What's funny? And I heard
I'm talking, Steve. Be quiet. I'm talking. All the talk about Baja real fast. I just wanted to bring up, Warfighter Made works in with the Nora. Which, the Mexican 1000 and the Nora 500, that is so much fun. There's a reason why it's called the happiest race on earth, because it's a rally.
Right.
And
absolutely.
You can't pre-run, and you just go, and you point A to point B. Once you finish your section, there's San Felipe, there's a huge tent set up. There's free food, beer.
Rob, hang on, I got to stop you there. Because once you finish, what do they do when you cross the finish of that stage?
They hand you a bunch of beer.
They hand you
You mean hydration?
Hydration. They hand you a bunch of hydration.
Hydration.
exactly.
But and so for us, from a warfighter standpoint, or the reason why warfighter, there's a lot of other organizations that deal with SCORE and stuff like that. But from my standpoint, NORA is so much fun to us because it's stress free. The only stress you have is what you induce into it, right? Because
Absolutely.
you know if you break,
So
or
it's
you
not
get
like
flat,
a race where you're just balls to the wall?
well, you can be, but if you break, you get stuck, you get whatever the case may be, you know you're going to be able to get retrieved and brought to the next stage, and then that evening you can fix your stuff, and you start the next morning because it's a rally.
That's the reason I never wanted to do desert racing, because I didn't want to get stuck and I didn't want to have that understanding that I have to go balls to the wall through shit that I didn't know what existed.
So that's why we participate in NORA events, because
Dude, I'm in.
It's not like that.
I want to do it.
Let's do it.
I got to say, Rob, we have wanted to do NORA for a long time when we schedule it, and it's so difficult for us to be out of the office for that long.
We've scheduled for at least 2 years in a row. The 3 years ago, it was kind of a very rough, we're going to do this, but every year it gets close. And
I'm raising the bullshit flag on you both, because I just heard you guys talk stories about going up to Oregon and doing the Gumball 500 or whatever the hell it was.
The Gumball.
Doing this, doing that.
Hey,
no,
you shut your mouth
bullshit.
about the Gumball.
Bullshit. I raised the bullshit flag.
How long is it, though? So
It's 5 days.
Gumball 500 was 2 days.
It's 5 days.
Nora's like 10 days by the
It's
time
5.
you're done.
It's 5. Well, okay. It's the race starts on a Sunday. You finish basically on Thursday. They have the
You sound like you're backpedaling.
awards on Friday, and then you got to drive back.
Well, so
5 days.
I heard about the NORA first with
the other thing you forgot to mention is the fact when it ends, you're in La Paz.
Right, it takes 4 days to get home.
You're actually in Cabo
not
de
a-
San Lucas.
It's not a loop.
Right.
Sometimes it can be.
Not
Like-
a bad place to end up.
I would
just did
probably
the-
want to go down there on a loop ride.
We just did the NORA 500, and it was in and out of Ensenada for 2 days,
Oh, that's not too bad.
which is
then.
also a rally race. You
Yeah.
know, it's rad. It's awesome.
Well, and that's the one we had our sights on this year, but we just couldn't put it together.
The first
Couldn't
time
get
I heard
out
about
that long.
NORA was, and you guys probably know him too, Jeff Furrier at UPR, and he
Oh,
drives.
yeah.
That
He
guy's
was
rad.
supposed
Yeah.
to be with us this year at the taco tour.
that guy's got some
Instead,
rad.
he took a
vehicles.
header off
Yeah.
of a freaking ladder and trashed his ankle.
So, oh man, did he? So Jeff's one of my good buddies.
Uh-huh.
Jeff's one of my good buddies because I live in the same town as him, so I see him all the time. But he's always told me that race was a fun race, but he didn't tell me it was.
It's a rally.
I guess lax race. That
Yeah.
lax race. I would love to do that.
Yep.
It's a rally.
Especially in the position I
it's-
am now, where being fucked up and kind of trying to get back into things. I think it would be a perfect transition.
Right.
Absolutely.
Stan, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, so now you guys got to go.
We all got to do
Right.
it.
Well, we do.
No excuses.
Yep.
Well,
So-
our whole goal to do NORA is not necessarily to go to race, but to go to support. So literally, like, if somebody stops, somebody needs a hand with anything, whether they're stuck, broke, whatever, for us to stop, help them out, and get moving.
Yeah.
So
And that was the plan this year. We're gonna take the Bronco, and we're gonna take the Elf, Greg's Class 11 trophy truck, or Trophy 11 as they call it,
right,
and just
however much of the Class 11 can be a trophy,
it's trophy. But it's just tough.
The raddest class out there.
There's
Yeah.
always next year.
Well, hopefully you guys can make it out there. What's your guys' plans for 2020?
to be more efficient. We do a lot of events.
Maybe sleep a little more.
Right.
I don't know.
So currently, I don't know if you know this, so currently Rugged does about 90 events a year.
There's only 52 weekends
Which
in a
is-
year. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah,
You are
that's the
correct.
standard response.
Yes.
You are correct. So we do a lot of stuff, and not just on the road. We've got, obviously new products. We've got a brand new complex going in. Heck, we're going to need to hire baristas and
Right.
taco makers.
Or we're just going to retire from the communications. and
Right.
just
I was going to be a barista. He's
Right.
going to be the, King Taco. He's got the name, the Gonzalez name. So
No, this, we're again, rugged is a from the top down as far as drive, and we're very driven to be better. As Greg likes to say, be better today than you were yesterday, and that's kind of that's our driving force. Is
I love that, dude.
We feel we're doing a great job. We feel we're reaching a lot of people. We're helping a lot of customers. Whether it's race, recreation, or commercial. But you guys know there's always room to improve. And,
my gosh.
And 2020 is we're pushing really, really hard in a lot of different directions, and at the expense of some sleep. And
Right.
And we have a crew that works, front to back. We have an incredible crew, and but we're working hard to create infrastructure to continue to build that and continue to build kind of the support, I guess you could say, for recreation, race, commercial, all that stuff.
Right.
We're constantly pushing in our race program. 2020 is no exception. We've developed a few new products that we're pushing really hard, and I don't know, we're excited about 2020.
Well, and to get back on our race program, we've really we're in the middle of totally redesigning it to help not only our racers, but to help us be able to help them, to have racers that are literally, when they get to the event, they come up to the trailer to shake our hands and say, thanks for all the support, and be on their way. There's no hair on fire. We want everybody perfect before they even get to the track,
which is rare for off-roaders.
Right. Because everybody's, half the time they're in the trailer on the way to the event, still working on the car to get it ready to
100%.
qualify.
I don't know anybody like the Team Wolfpack that ever does that ever. I don't think they ever have done that.
Right. Team Wolfpack has never had that.
Yeah, they're always pre-ready,
Let's put that
like a
out
week
there.
before.
Let's put that to bed. No, but you know what? We get it. We really get it. Again, we're enthusiasts, and we like to play off-road. We like to go have fun. That's our recreation as well. We don't just work in the industry. It seems crazy, but, we work off-road every single day, and then on the weekends we want to go play off-road.
Mm-hmm.
But you get down to it, that's our therapy. And we get it. All these people that are racing off-road, they're not racing off-road because they're making money, because let's face it, virtually nobody makes money in off-road. But these guys spend a lot of money and work really hard to go race off-road because that's their therapy.
That's their passion.
But
Absolutely.
they don't always have the time to dial everything in, to get everything ready, and we understand that. So 2020 is our big push in the race market, at least, is how do we help people get that stuff dialed before they get to the course? Right. Before they get to Mexico, before they get to Laughlin, wherever you're racing. We want you guys to do it ahead of time so you can have a good race.
And you want to do it while they're having a good time,
and this
too.
goes right, and this goes from the the $1 million trophy truck to the grassroots racer that just bought a Razor and threw a cage on it and wants to go to the local event in town. It doesn't matter who you are. We want to make sure you're perfect.
Yep. Well, and newsflash, that grassroots guy that just bought a car and just put his system in, he typically has the exact same problems that a $1 million trophy truck has.
Yeah,
without
and
doubt.
it's all very similar stuff. And our effort this year for the race program is focusing on how do we get you dialed before the race.
I'm glad that you
And
guys
we've got
have
a lot of new products that are race driven. We've got a new
anything you can tell us about?
coax table. What's that?
Any of the new products that you can share with us today?
We just launched. Well, actually, we haven't even launched. We have a brand new antenna.
So right now we're going to piss off our marketing team.
Right? Yeah, they
We've done this, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 times. But anyway,
this year.
So basically, what you're saying
no,
is it's the first time you're ever going to talk about it.
Right.
No, but you know what? Again, we learn a lot in desert racing. Off-road is just it is the worst environment for just about. I can't think of one product that it's a good environment for, as far as a product lasting through any kind of activity. But it's an excellent test bed, and we learn a lot in desert racing. We learn a lot in and not just desert. We have people trashing antennas in this particular case in every environment, whether it's out in the desert, middle of Baja, or in the woods.
When I loaded up the trailer at the UTV World Championship, dude,
ripping.
Oh my God!
Exactly. Slams the door, the rear door.
Oh, they hit all the lights on the way in.
Yeah, your antenna failed. No, you smashed it. But you know what? So we take all those things and we learn from it. And we're not going to get off-roaders to be any nicer to components. So let's figure out how to make it last in that environment. And the result of that is our new Go Further antenna, and it's been redesigned from the ground up, from all the little windings and stuff and fancy parts on the inside to the way it's assembled, the materials we're using. It's all made for off-road, and that's what drives us. We see an issue, we want to fix it. We don't see an issue and just think, well, you're just hard on the equipment. No. You're always going to be hard on the equipment, so let's figure out how to make a change. We don't stand still. I guess that's kind of the point.
Right. It's just constantly evolving, and then all of those race products that are now next year are going to be the consumer products, and we'll be working on more stuff that's race driven. It's just how it evolves. That's kind of where the race market. It's a great test bed, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and we trickle that stuff down pretty fast. So if we see that something's working in desert racing, we have a lot of teams that we work with in off-road, and, we'll try new things with them. If it works, we don't sit back and say, well, that works for the race market, but, the recreational guy can use this other stuff. We move that into our recreation stuff really quickly, because when your equipment lasts, everyone's happier. So
yeah, 100%.
And when it performs better, if say we have an antenna that performs better than another one, why would we want to put one that doesn't perform as well? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I agree with that 100%. Well, I'm glad to hear you guys are doing that, and I like the fact that you guys are doing it in a, on a daily basis. It's not a relaxed environment for you guys, but you're showing that you care, and you have a relaxed environment when you go down to Baja, and you're helping people, and you're doing these things in a manner that's fun. And a lot of people don't get that these days. With the advent of social media and stuff, those things are so much better when they're done in a good environment like that. I love it. All right, so talking about having fun, I got a surprise for all three of you guys. So I got some rapid-fire questions. I'm going to ask Bechard first, Gonzalez, and then Robert. So, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Dust to Glory. Always has been. Has been since it came out.
All right. Gonzalez, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Shoot. I don't know, Dust to Glory too, because it's got a lot of rugged in it.
All right. Robert, what's your favorite movie?
I don't know. That was a cop-out, right? That was a cop-out.
300.
Next.
Ooh, 300 is pretty cool. I just watched Six Underground yesterday, so it bypassed my Beautiful Mind being my favorite movie. Six Underground, boys, you got to check it out. It's that new Michael Bay movie with Ryan Reynolds. It's so sweet.
Nice.
I'll check it out.
I think I know the answer to this one. Favorite food?
Favorite food? Steve Square. Taco.
All right, Gonzalez, same question. We're just going to keep going. Same question, all three.
You know what? Favorite food. So I'm a big fan. My kids ask me all the time, "What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that?" I'm like, it depends on the mood. Sometimes tacos. It's the Al Pastor at Baja Burro, the Steve Square, and you're looking for a big hearty meal. Oh, it's glorious.
Blanton, what's your favorite food?
I would say I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, it depends, but like if it was the last thing or the only thing that I could eat for a really long time, I'd say probably like bacon and eggs.
Oh, you're going bacon and eggs. You're a breakfast dude, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
a little breakfast.
Anything bacon. Anything bacon.
Or everybody already knows. Everybody already knows mine's. Everybody already knows mine. That's okay. Everybody already knows mine's tacos. So I'm going to go ahead and answer the next one. Favorite soda? Mine's Diet Orange Crush. So favorite soda, Bechard?
Just got to be Pepsi then, or Mexican Coke, but they don't get it here.
Favorite soda? I'm gonna call it double Pendleton with ginger ale and a twist of lime.
Ooh, there you go. All right, so he threw us for a loop.
I don't drink soda, so anything that I can mix with freaking hydration.
All right, well, how about the
I don't drink sodas either, but it's going to hydrate.
I just introduced Robert to the White Man Margarita today with Diet Mountain Dew and Patron. So
Patron and Diet Mountain Dew.
It's unbelievable if you guys
Nice.
haven't tried it yet. So try a Steve Squared with the White Man's Margarita. All right, what's your guys' most memorable race or event?
My favorite race or event, it's got to be the 1,000 for me.
I'll jump in on this one. So 1,000 is awesome. But if you just kind of encompass events in general, Bechard and I did this event. This would have been 4 years ago.
No.
Last year was the first year we didn't do it since Bechard started.
Mormon Lake.
And there's a UTV rally in Mormon Lake in Arizona that is just like unbelievable in so many ways. And part of it is the promoter's awesome. Andy Myers does an incredible job of putting on this event. And then the other aspects are the people that go, it's nothing but families.
Right.
You know, and by family, I mean, it could be, you know,
3
husband and wife,
generations.
or literally 3 generations where it's grandma and grandpa and one of their kids, you know, grandma and grandpa and their 2-seat UTV, which they haven't been riding in 30 years, but now they just bought a UTV, and then their kids in another 4-seat UTV with, you know, mom and dad plus 2 kids, and then 2 of their kids in another small UTV or on quads or motos or whatever.
This sounds like fun.
And then it's unbelievable. And then on top of that, the trails
It's
there.
beautiful.
Oh my God!
This was in Flagstaff, so just outside of Flagstaff, up at Mormon Lake.
Yeah.
So you're at 7,000 feet in elevation. There's elk everywhere. It's really weird because there's tons of trees, like pine trees, but there's like almost no undergrowth. So it's like park-like setting everywhere you go.
It looks like it's maintained. It's and the trails are quite fast.
They are quite fun. Quite fun. That's where we started the whole geocache.
Yeah, that's right. Shoot, I forgot about that.
We did.
So we started this thing. We decided at that event, we went out after hours. We closed the trailer at 9, 10, whatever o'clock at night, and we decided we go out to ride and hide radios. So we would hide radios out in the forest.
That's fun.
And then we come back to the
I
trailer.
remember that on social media.
And we'd post up coordinates and tell people, go fish, you know. And we thought it was just like, just a handful of people will like it. And we literally had people waiting at the trailer. And mind you, we get there early. Like, we get there at like 6:30 in the morning, and it doesn't, and Vendor Road isn't open till 9, 10 o'clock.
Right.
We literally had people waiting at the trailer for us to post coordinates and sprinting to their cars to go find them.
Yeah, it was their adventure for the day. They would have their whole family. There'd be 2 or 3 side-by-sides or whatever.
Way to
and they'd
disrupt
go
the whole
out just
event,
going
dude.
To try to find these radios.
Take it over.
Yeah, way to take over and disrupt the whole event, bros.
It was so well. It was funny. Is one of the nights we're bombing along, and I'm doing probably 65, 70 in the car, and all of a sudden I see this flash of light and just a hand go like that. I'm like, what the hell? He goes, I just tossed the radio and took a picture of the GPS in the process, which was the hardest one for people to find, but they found it.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
So
Do you have a favorite event, Robert?
Crazy.
Do you have a favorite event or race?
Favorite event? Well, so when I was a kid, my dad used to take me drag racing at Sears Point, Infineon, Sonoma County Raceway, whatever it's called now. And 4 years old, sitting passenger in a V8 Vega that he built, running 11-second quarter miles, and but like off-road type stuff. I mean, from the adrenaline therapy that we do at Glen Helen with the Lucas Oil Regionals and specifically the NORA, the 1000. The very first year we ever went to the NORA, we took a broken machine down there and we pushed it over the well, first we got towed over the start line to start the event, and then every morning since we pushed it over the start line until we pushed it over the finish line, 4 days later or whatever
Fucking
the case was.
man.
I remember that, Rob. That was awesome.
And that was all based off the fact that, hey, we're effing vets, just because something happens, like,
like you said, never give up.
We didn't give up. And we actually went down there and there was 16 of us down there with 2 vehicles. And those of us in Team Broken Flyer, we had the time of our lives, even though we didn't physically get to drive. It was still fun as can be.
Yep, there go you with that story again, like the Godfrey said.
And then we went back the next year and won it in our class, and then we got to a buddy, Danny, and I got invited to drive a Class 11 last year's 1000, which is undescribable. Class 11 stock VW Bug is just awesome.
That's cool, man.
And then the Nora 500 this year with Kirstie Ennis, Jackie Carasosa, and Danny Naveau was just memorable. So, yeah, I got a couple. That's my answer.
That's good. All right, we'll go into a simpler question. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Bechard?
Oh, you know what?
It's an easy one for me.
Thrifty, cherry chip.
Yeah, that sounds
good.
Pretty
Old
good.
Thrifty.
What about you, Gonzalez?
Black cherry. Oh, man. You can't. By the way, the official end of the Rugged Taco Tour is Thrifty's ice cream. So
it sounds like a nice dessert after a nice meal of tacos.
If you do your own Rugged Taco Tour, make sure you top it off with some Thrifty's ice cream.
By the time you get done with 10 days of Baja, the only thing that's better than a nice salad would be Thrifty's ice cream.
Exactly.
All right, Blanton.
Which is
favorite
available
ice cream?
just about anywhere in Mexico, by the way.
You're going. Okay, so all you guys pick fruit. You pick strawberry.
Strawberry.
So they pick cherries. I'll just go with pralines and cream.
Black cherry.
I'll be so you guys all pick fruits, but I'll just be the odd man out with the sweet one. All right, M&M's or Skittles?
Skittles.
What's that?
M&M's or Skittles?
I just answered for you too. It's Skittles. Don't worry about it.
Skittles, yeah.
I answered for you. You guys are okay.
Yep. Skittles wins. Skittles for the win. If you were a character in Hangover, who would you be?
Who would I be?
Wow.
Don't forget, you can pick Mike Tyson. You can. He's in A. You can pick Mike Tyson.
Actually, yeah, that's
just fun. I don't even know.
I'm going with Alan. I like Alan. When he's like filling up with gas, he's like, "Don't even look at it. Just walk away. Just walk away."
I'll hit an old man.
So, all right, Bechard, who are you in The Hangover?
I'm going to say the little Asian guy.
That's pretty accurate, actually.
All right, Gonzalez, who are you?
I don't even know. Who am I? You guys tell me. Who am I?
You can be the guy that gets his tooth
Rob,
pulled.
who am I?
I don't remember what his name is, but the guy that gets his tooth pulled. That guy's fucked up. All right, who are you going to be, Rob?
Gonzalez, you're the hot chick that gets married.
Oh yeah.
I'm the groom that ends up spending all day on the roof of
on the rooftop.
Yeah.
Right.
So I always miss out on all the fun.
All right. Well, should I cut my hand open? We can all be blood brothers right now, then, or what?
I'm a wolf pack of one.
Right.
All right. Who's your favorite racer? And you have to pick one. You can't do more than one.
My favorite racer?
It could be Lewis Hamilton. It could be Jeremy McGrath. It could be Chris and Matt. Whoever you want.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I got one that pops into mind, and Bechard will totally see where I'm coming from on this. So, Abdali Lopez.
Yeah.
Good dude.
I don't know if any of you guys know him.
Yep.
But his commitment to family, and not just his, like that family. So we've known them for a while now. I'd say the first time we really spent some time with them was at a race in Lake Elsinore, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Abdali was racing, and
This was an SST race.
Oh, cool.
and so he's down there racing, and that he's funny because he's super quiet, super mellow, but the guy drives the wheels off of freaking anything, and he literally checker flag, won the heat, got out of the truck, left it in the course, just like literally won the race, got out of the truck, and
So skip the whole I won interview, everything.
all that stuff. And like Bechard and I are still hanging out in the bleachers. We're like, yeah, watching the race, woohoo! And suddenly he's sitting next to us with his family. We're like, holy crap! And like all he wanted to do,
I'm Betty Sneaky.
He did. He jumped over the gate and over the fence and up into the stands and was hugging his family.
Yep. And that entire family is just like that. It's amazing how dedicated they are to each other. And like you can tell, like the ties there are just unbelievable. But they race as a family. Like everyone in that family races, from mom, dad, all the kids. Everyone is in racing. Abdali's wife races.
Yep.
His mom, his sister, his brother. It's crazy, and it's just they're kind of living that dream, and they don't. And it's not in the sense that like, man, they've got mega dollars and they're just doing all this race. They do it because they love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And even the dad has said, I talked to the dad. Juan Carlos says he was telling me one time, he's like, there's been a couple times where he's just over it. Anyone that races know, like you literally just you might as well just pour buckets of money into the storm drain. And
if you want to be a millionaire
says,
racing, you start with $2 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And he says there's been a couple times where he gets to the point where he's just done, and he's just like the heartache and just you work your ass off all day long, all week long, and weekends and nights and all this stuff to go racing, and then you go and the simplest thing takes you out of the race. And then he told me one time, he said my wife told me, she says, so what's the deal? And he's like, I'm just kind of over it, and they've got this, shop full of race cars. And she says, well, either sell the race cars or use them. She's like, I'm not going to have a bunch of cars in the garage that aren't being used. And she's like, let's go racing. And he said, it was invigorating for me. He says, game on. And
yeah.
Oh, they're just an awesome family. So
that goes right back to
pick.
I don't understand half of what they say most of the time, but I absolutely love it.
He just doesn't have a good time.
That's like exactly what we've been talking about, like the camaraderie thing, like that whole like love what you do and appreciate it. That's fucking awesome.
And when you get your family involved,
absolutely,
makes it that much
better.
Like you and your dad.
Aside from the Lopez family or whatever, honestly, in the States and everything, I've got to say Dustin Jones and the S3 crew.
Sure. For sure.
So humble, polite. Every time I talk to, I've known those guys for a long time. I partnered with them on my X3. But I cannot believe the amount of appreciation that they get. And Dustin told me something once when we were at the Can-Am dealer show together. We spent a lot of time together, and he told me, he says, you know what, Mr. Steve, he says I want to make sure when anybody comes up to me, he says, I don't care if they're 3 years old or they're 83 years old. He says, I am going to give them my undivided attention for however long it takes. That has stuck with me.
Yep.
And,
I know another dude that does that.
The kind of guy he is.
Yep. Well, and it's the kind of people that inspire us. And Steve, I remember as soon as he got off the phone with me, he told me that, and it's the kind of thing that inspires us. And it's a good reminder because, hey, we all get wrapped up in our own thing, and we all think we're really busy and all that kind of thing. And it's really easy to take something for granted or take a person for granted. And people like that are a great reminder of what's important,
Yeah,
and Dustin
absolutely.
is, next level. Just it's I would agree with that for sure. Yeah.
You got a favorite?
And that's that whole team too, though. I mean, Dustin,
everyone.
But it's all of them. It's the whole Mr. Mal and that whole team. I love them to death. I'll do anything for them.
Yeah.
You got a favorite, Blanton?
Yeah, I got a favorite. It's old school, but to caveat off of what Bechard was saying about Dustin, there's definitely some racers out there that no matter what we're doing, I've witnessed them, whether it's myself or other warfighters. If they see that Warfighter Made logo, whatever they're doing, they'll stop and they'll go talk to that vet. Dustin is definitely one of them. Rob Mack is one.
Yep.
RJ Anderson.
Yep.
I saw RJ Anderson one day. I was introducing him to a bunch of vets, and one of his guys came up to him and was like, hey, you got to get in your car. You got to be out there. And all of a sudden RJ's like, whoa. I'm talking to the warfighters.
Yeah.
Right? And it just totally shut the whole thing down. And I was just like, man, you just made those guys feel appreciated,
Yep.
you know, and Brian Deegan's, and I saw Brian Deegan one time, like I was bringing some vets up to him and he was eating, and I saw he was eating. So I stopped and I was like, hey guys, we're going to come back, you know, and he saw us getting ready to turn around. He's just like, hey, come on over. And, you know, took that 5 minutes just to say what's up, a couple photos. So that's awesome. But, you know, going back old school, and then of course I got the youth racers, Caden Danbury, Jacob Peter, Casey Sims. I got.
You realize you're naming off all these rugged radios drivers, too,
Yeah,
right?
well, I mean, because you guys keep good stock. Matty Wedeking. I mean, all of them come out and, you know, support our events and you know, take the kids of warfighters for rides and stuff, and that means a lot to us. All right,
Yeah,
but I got to
absolutely.
pick one, so I'm going to go old school and Bob Hurricane Hanna. Dirt
Ooh,
bikes.
that's a good one, man.
That's,
Wow.
that was the dude that like inspired me to start riding.
That was a super good one.
So
All right, well, we know you guys are into trucks, so we got two more questions. But we know you guys are into trucks and off-roading and stuff. But if you could pick any other form of racing to try, I'm a huge F1 fan, so that's my answer.
Any other form of racing to try? So I've done a lot. I've done some circle track stuff.
Okay, let me specify a little bit
I've
more. You can only try for 5 minutes. You only get 5 minutes to try it.
5 minutes.
That's it.
Wow. Shoot.
Man, that's not even enough time to learn.
Okay, fine. Then you guys are just going to go soapbox racing. You guys are going to do that Red Bull thing where you fly off the pier.
dude, I love that.
Well, here's the deal.
I love
though.
that. I would do
we
that.
could make anything fun.
Right.
With some
Wow,
refreshments,
something I've never done.
some hydration.
Honestly, you know what? I've done a little bit of this, but not enough. If I had the opportunity to do a full-on rally car,
Yeah,
I would totally be down with that.
That'd be cool.
Man.
Yeah.
What about you,
You know,
Gonzalez?
I missed an opportunity to go to Dirtfish, and I've regretted it ever since.
Yeah.
You want
I'm gonna
rally
go with
too,
kart
Gonzalez?
racing.
Kart racing?
No, I'm going to go with kart racing. I agree with rally. That's something that's just I see what those guys do, and coming from a desert kind of perspective, it's so different. You know, I can't say that one is better than the other, but I've always wanted to try my hand at like really fast kart racing.
Yeah, like Malibu Grand Prix. I think that's what he's looking
exactly. K1.
Kart racing is definitely fun. We got to do shifter karts and all that stuff, 4-stroke and 2-stroke,
Right.
and it was bitching. What about you, Rob?
Probably Formula Drift.
Formula Drift, huh?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool too. Ooh. All right, last
Sounds like fun.
last question before we get off the phone. Chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup?
Oh, chips and guacamole.
Get out.
That's not even a question.
Get out.
Yeah.
Just turn it off.
Yeah.
Never ask that question again.
You know, it's
Yeah.
the awesome.
Never ask that
The awesomest part about it is I specifically
Hey,
asked
Rob,
that.
take care of it.
It's like having a jukebox at your bar, and if somebody plays Jimmy Buffett, you're profiling. Like, that's exactly why I asked the question, because if you don't give me the answer that he did, then it's cut out. We got to go.
That's it.
Like, we're over.
Right?
We are no longer friends.
Yeah. So, all right, boys. Well, I appreciate all the insight to the company, the new products that you guys got coming out, and all of the cool
Thank you,
stuff
guys.
that you guys have done. You guys are obviously awesome dudes, and you got an awesome boss, and clearly you guys have a lot of fun. So I appreciate the time.
do. Yeah.
You guys have made our night. I don't know about Rob, but I kind of want to go do the Nora now with these guys coming down. We got to convince them to do it.
we're right there with you guys. Yeah.
So what we need to do is, Rob, we haven't done anything together for a while, so
Yeah.
we need to do something together. So
Maybe it's Nora.
let's figure this out. Let's figure something out to do together. Whether it's for a vet, whether it's for whatever. Let's figure something out.
I'm trying to convince Rob to go across the country in September. So
We're already doing the Mint 400, and we're already registered for the Mexican 1000. So we're out there.
Good.
Where are you guys at? Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
Pretty much everywhere. So.
Right.
No, we're gonna figure out how to put this together for sure. Absolutely.
all right, boys.
Yep.
Thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good
Thank you,
night.
guys.
And well, hopefully you don't have to take an Uber home with all your hydration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Rob. So maybe we'll have to plan some sort of pre-runner trip so there's no racing involved. So we can just go out and have a good time, whether it's UTVs, trucks, whatever.
I'm down. That's all you had to say.
Okay. Same with you, George.
Cool.
All right, boys. We love you. We'll see you guys. Good night.
Thanks.
All right.
Have a good night.
Cheers.
Thanks, brothers.
All right, Rob. Thanks so much for talking with these guys with me. I appreciate it, dude.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you sharing all your stories too. You had a lot of good stuff to say tonight, man. It's this has been one of our longest shows, but I'm glad that we did it because I tell everybody I always want to wake up the next day after having a show and have a smile on my face, and I'm definitely gonna have a good one. So I appreciate it, dude. Thank you to all of our sponsors on the show. Thank you to Shock Therapy. Thank you to Fuel Wheels. Thank you to Rigid Industries. Thank you to Solderweld. And thank you to Zollinger Racing Products. I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. You guys are all awesome. I want to have bigger shows all the time, so go and share this on social media. Join us on our social media. Look at Rob's Warfighter website, the warfighter.org, and he just launched that. I'm going to go check it out after we get off the show. Thank you guys so much. We love you.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
And don't forget that one of our family members, Lucretia at Rockstar Customs, lost her house. They got a GoFundMe going down. If you can, I know it's Christmas and everything's tight, but even the littlest amount helps. And we're going to be on there donating here real soon. So,
yeah.
Lucretia, Rockstar Customs, GoFundMe, help them out.
Yeah, so I'll post a link in the comments right now when we get off. But on Instagram, it's at Rockstar Customs. Those guys are awesome family. They've helped us out a bunch when we were doing the Silver State 300. We love them very much. We love you guys. Good night.
Make no mistake about it, we're glad you've wasted your time with us listening to another episode of The Dirt Life Show with George Hamill and Cody Sanders. This production has been approved, endorsed, and authorized by absolutely no one.